Chapter 397. Before the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank 6 armed devil mantises could even touch the mobile fortified stronghold, they were killed like ants. This filled Zhang Ziqiao and them with shock. Zhang Ziqiao was a peerless genius of the Bright Moon School. She was confident that she could deal with the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank 6 armed devil mantises together with the Lily Mercenary Group's junior apprentice sisters, provided that there were no other disturbances. If the opponent was a dense crowd of devil insects coupled with the Starry Sky Warlock rank 6 armed devil mantises, then she would definitely choose to escape. Otherwise, only death would await her. The Starry Sky Warlock rank 6 armed devil mantises were one of the most feared assassins of human warlocks on the underground 3rd floor. In the Black Ink War Zone alone, 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank human warlocks would be killed by the 6 armed devil mantises every year. Zhang Ziqiao and them had to be careful when hunting freaks in the demonic realm, not daring to make any big movements at will. Zhang Ziqiao sighed in her heart. Amazing, this huge mechanical legion is really amazing. In the demonic realm, it's much more useful than a Moonlight Warlock rank general. After the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank 6 armed devil mantises were killed by Yang Feng, the huge mechanical legion flattened the sky covering devil locusts, devil cockroaches and demonic cockroaches, and forced them to retreat in defeat, leaving charred corpses and broken pieces everywhere. The 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank sickle devil beetles hiding behind countless low-level devil insects finally moved and surged towards the mobile fortified stronghold like 10 mobile fortified strongholds. By destroying the mobile fortified stronghold, the source of the mechanical legion would be destroyed. In this way, the endless stream of devil insects could eventually destroy the mechanical legion that had lost its backup step by step. The 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank demonic light devil scorpions hiding behind the sickle devil beetles launched continuous attacks and blasted the turrets around the mobile fortified stronghold to pieces. Although the engineering robots were manufacturing and repairing the turrets, but the speed at which the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank magic light devil scorpions destroyed the turrets was still much faster than the speed at which they repaired and manufactured the turrets. The densely packed shield bearers held large alloy shields and activated their protective shields, guarding in front of the turrets that were being built. However, they were still penetrated by the demonic light and exploded. The demonic light devil scorpions can freely transform the demonic light into penetrating light and exploding light. The penetrating light can even pierce through moonlight warlocks, while the exploding light can detonate. It is ever-changing and has infinite power. The mobile fortified stronghold's numerous turrets fired at the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank demonic light devil scorpions, and the demonic light devil scorpions immediately hid behind the sickle devil beetles. When the various energy beams slammed into the sickle devil beetle, they were deflected to the side, unable to harm the sickle devil beetle at all. Yang Feng said lightly, "What a strong defense." However, comparatively speaking, the demonic light devil scorpions were more troublesome. Let's take care of them first. The densely packed bladed troops suddenly burst out, madly rushing towards the direction of the sickle longhorn beetle devil. Countless bladed mechanical troops brandished high-frequency oscillation blades and chopped the devil cockroaches and demonic cockroaches, blocking their way into pieces. During the mad dash, many bladed mechanical troops were pulled out of the legion by the devil cockroaches and demonic cockroaches, and then torn into countless pieces. However, the devil cockroaches and demonic cockroaches couldn't resist the charge of the mechanical legion. A passage was forcibly carved out. The 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank demonic light devil scorpions flicked their tails, and demonic light suddenly surged, dispersed, and turned into a meteor shower that fell into the midst of the mechanical legion. Boom! 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 One after another, the bladed mechanical troops were blown to pieces by the demonic light. With a single strike from the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank demonic light devil scorpions, 2,000 bladed mechanical troops were blown to pieces. A steady stream of bladed mechanical troops continued to fly out, forcibly carving out a space among the low-level demonic insects. In the next moment, the hundreds of thousands of bladed mechanical troops detonated in a flash, sweeping away all the low-level demonic insects in the surroundings. From the whirlpool of explosions, 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank sickle devil beetles rushed out, followed by 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank demonic light devil scorpions. The detonation of the hundreds of thousands of bladed mechanical troops didn't cause them any harm. The 20 Starry Sky Warlock rank devil insects looked at the dense mechanical legion, and without hesitation, they madly rushed towards the mobile fortified stronghold. Suddenly, as if they were mercilessly slashed by countless invisible blades, the joints of the limbs, backs, and cracks in the carapace of the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank demonic light devil scorpions split open in an instant, and copious amounts of green blood sputtered from the fragile joints. As if cut by countless invisible blades, the large pincers of the demonic light devil scorpions and the scorpion tails that could manipulate demonic light separated from their bodies and fell to the ground. Before they could react, the 10 demonic light devil scorpions were dismembered into pieces and fell to the ground, losing their breath of life. The 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank sickle devil beetles spread their huge insect wings and flapped, and wind blades slashed in all directions with them as the center. Under the slashing of the wind blades, the hundreds of invisible ghost hunters, attached to the magic light scorpions, were instantly sliced into various shapes. Their figures were revealed, and they turned into countless parts that scattered on the ground. When Zhang Jiqiao saw this scene, her heart shook slightly. Invisible mechanical golems. Existences capable of stealth were undoubtedly the best assassins. Even if it was a Starry Sky Warlock rank expert who encountered these invisible existences, if they didn't cast a targeted anti-stealth spell in advance, they would suffer a great deal. With invisible mechanical golems like phantom hunters, there were many more strange assassins in the huge mechanical legion, making it impossible to guard against them. The 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank sickle devil beetles rose into the air, rode countless gusts of wind, and flew towards the mobile fortified stronghold like 10 meteors. The mobile fortified stronghold as well as the various artilleries around the stronghold fired wildly at the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank sickle devil beetles. Countless energy weapons blasted into them, but were blocked by their carapace and deflected, unable to cause them any real harm. Yang Feng mused regretfully, "It's a pity that this isn't a level 2 mobile fortified stronghold. Otherwise, a few artilleries would be able to wipe them out. It's too strenuous for the level 1 mobile fortified stronghold to deal with these Starry Sky Warlock rank freaks that focus on defense." The bombardment of the mobile fortified stronghold and the various artilleries was indeed consuming the strength of the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank sickle devil beetles. However, just relying on the artilleries, before the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank sickle devil beetles could be killed, the mobile fortified stronghold would be destroyed. Yang Feng mused, "It's time for me to step in." A person covered in a golden mechanical armor suddenly flew out from the mobile fortified stronghold. This person was Yang Feng's avatar on the Feisua plane. When Yang Feng's avatar flew out, he aimed the super gravity gun at the 10 Starry Sky Warlock rank sickle devil beetles and pulled the trigger. One after another, the gravity balls slammed into the sickle devil beetles. Every sickle devil beetle that was hit directly sank and fell to the ground. 2 black dragons suddenly flew out of the mobile fortified stronghold. The demigod rank black dragon Oben belched a fearsome dragon breath that slammed into a sickle devil beetle. Burned by the dragon breath, the sickle devil beetle issued miserable screams and exuded a burnt smell. It was seriously injured. The demigod rank mechanical black dragon opened its mouth and a dragon breath cannon descended from the sky and bombarded a sickle devil beetle. The dragon breath cannon finally penetrated the sickle devil beetle's carapace and heavily injured it. The densely packed bladed troops, like a tide, rushed towards the 2 sickle devil beetles whose defenses were broken, and fiercely fought with them. Yang Feng looked at the sickle devil beetles and said with a smile, "Senior disciple Sister Zhang, can I ask you to take care of those sickle devil beetles?" Zhang Jiqiao replied with a confident smile, "Of course not. Junior disciple Brother Yang, take a good look at our strength." Luo Luer said with a confident smile, You finally can't hold on any longer? Junior disciple Brother Yang, take a good look at our power." The beautiful warlocks of the Lily mercenary group showed confident smiles. Sickle devil beetles were Starry Sky Warlock rank insects with tyrannical defenses, and the ability to manipulate wind elemental particles. This kind of opponent was nothing to their mercenary group. From the mobile fortified stronghold, 5 figures flew out. Zhang Jiqiao barked, "Get into formation." Luo Luer and the other 3 women surrounded Zhang Jiqiao and silently recited incantations, and bright moon-like runes gushed out of their bodies and linked with the runes around Zhang Jiqiao. Floating in the air, the 5 people radiated bright light, looking like moons. Chapter 398. Yang Feng looked at Zhang Ziqiao's group of 5, who looked like bright moons, and praised, Bright Moon 5 Elements Formation, a secret method of the Bright Moon School. This secret method can link the life force of 5 people and concentrate it on one person. No matter who is attacked, everyone can share the damage. What an amazing secret method! The Fighting Demonic Sect had information on most of the secret methods of the 10 great sects. As an ally of the Fighting Demonic Sect, the Fighting Demonic Sect also had a lot of information on them. Full moon. Zhang Ziqiao extended her jade-like finger and rays of moonlight condensed on the tip of her finger, forming an extremely sharp crescent moon. She pointed with a finger, and the crescent moon slashed towards a sickle devil beetle pinned to the ground by the gravity gun. The sharp crescent moons cut into the sickle devil beetles and broke their carapaces. Hundreds of crescent moons slashed frantically and chopped the head of a sickle devil beetle. The crescent moons constantly moved around the heads of the sickle devil beetles, and the sickle devil beetles were directly beheaded, unable to resist at all. Before long, the 10 sickle devil beetles all died at the hands of Zhang Ziqiao and the other 4 experts, nailed to the ground by Yang Feng's clone using the gravity gun. The sickle devil beetles were equivalent to fixed targets. They couldn't pose a problem for Zhang Ziqiao and the other experts. After killing the 10 sickle devil beetles, Zhang Ziqiao's group of 5 flew back to the portable fortified stronghold. Sitting on the bridge, Yang Feng clapped his hands and exclaimed, Amazing! Senior disciple Sister Zhang, you're really amazing! The corners of Luo Luer's mouth rose into a complacent smile. Zhang Ziqiao uttered with a faint smile, It's nothing. They're fixed in place and can't budge. If I can't deal with them like this, then I would have cultivated to the Starry Sky Warlock rank for nothing. Any Starry Sky Warlock would have a way to deal with them. Yang Feng said with a smile, but there aren't many Starry Sky Warlocks in the Black Ink War Zone who can deal with them so quickly. Zhang Ziqiao revealed a proud and confident smile and said, That's right. In the Black Ink War Zone, only our Lily mercenary group can deal with them so easily. Luo Luer and the other 3 girls also revealed proud and confident smiles. The defense of the sickle devil beetles had evolved to a terrifying level. Other Starry Sky Warlocks may have a way to get rid of them. However, it was definitely not as clean as Zhang Ziqiao and the others. On the battlefield, time was life. Zhang Ziqiao's group was able to earn hundreds of thousands of merit points in a month because they could kill enough targets and retreat quickly before the main forces of the Infernal Realm reacted. After the sickle devil beetles were all killed, the devil locusts, devil cockroaches, and other devil insects retreated into the darkness like a tide. Hundreds of thousands of engineering robots took the opportunity to rush out of the constantly expanding base to collect the wreckage of various main battle robots and various devil insects for recycling. After the wreckage of the main battle robots was melted down, a new main battle robot was produced. The only loss was a large amount of energy. In the Tyrannid subcontinent, Yang Feng built all kinds of power stations. Nuclear energy, geothermal energy, wind energy, water energy, solar energy, and other energy sources were collected to produce countless high-energy crystals, which could support him in a protracted war. After the Tyrannid subcontinent was completely unified by Yang Feng, he was able to mobilize the power of the entire Tyrannid subcontinent to produce more than 10 million level 8 main battle robots. By now, the number of main battle robots had reached 6 million. After the huge mechanical legion defeated the attacking devil insectoids, it immediately moved towards the devil insectoid's nest in an orderly manner. Destroying the devil insect nest and occupying the ore vein that might be rich in purple sage demonic gold was the purpose of Yang Feng's war. Along the way, wherever the mechanical army passed, all the fiends would be wiped out. When the slightly rational freaks saw the huge mechanical legion, they hid far away, not daring to fight it. When the low-level freaks without intelligence rushed towards the huge mechanical legion, they were crushed to pieces. They became one of Yang Feng's research materials. In the place where the purple sage demonic gold or vein was said to be, there was a giant insect nest that was 100 meters tall and covered an area of thousands of hectares. It was irregularly circular and had caves everywhere, looking very much like a beehive. In the area with a radius of more than 30 kilometers, There was a kind of gray mucus that resembled snot, exuding a disgusting stench and looked like rotten food. In the gray mucus, there were many small white worms that were constantly swimming around. It was an extremely creepy sight. From the demonic fighting sex information, Yang Feng knew that the gray mucus was called insect queen liquid. There were countless parasites in the insect queen liquid. Once the parasites came into contact with the human body, they would drill into the body and parasitize it. Only Starry Sky Warlock rank powerhouses could kill the parasites by relying on their strong immunity. Fighting in such a place full of insect queen liquid was extremely disadvantageous for the experts of other races, as they had to be distracted by the parasites in the insect queen liquid. If they were careless, even Starry Sky Warlock rank powerhouses would fall victim. The insect queen liquid was the food of the devil insects. Devil locusts, devil cockroaches, demonic cockroaches, and a series of other low-level devil insects fed on the insect queen liquid. Their digestive ability could kill the parasites and turn them into their own energy. Even if they couldn't digest the parasites, they would parasitize the devil insects and enhance their strength. Some devil insects and the parasites in the insect queen liquid would form a strange symbiotic relationship, undergo a wonderful evolution, and become more terrifying and powerful. As soon as they arrived at the edge of the Zerg nest filled with the queen fluid, the gunner troops immediately stepped forward, and the flamethrower sprayed long streams of flame, incinerating the queen fluid along with the parasites inside. Countless devil locusts, devil cockroaches, and demonic cockroaches poured out of the insect nest and rushed towards the mechanical legion. When the swarm of insects slammed into the mechanical legion, as if they had hit a steel plate, they turned into countless charred corpses and broken body parts that fell to the ground. The hundreds of thousands of artillery troops fired all kinds of artillery at the frightening insect nest. With each explosion, a part of the insect nest was blown apart, and mucus splattered everywhere. The rumbling of artillery fire rang incessantly. The insect nest was blasted away by artillery fire and collapsed inch by inch. The massive number of low-level devil insects couldn't stop the ocean-like mechanical legion. It seemed that it was only a matter of time before the insect nest was destroyed. Suddenly, about 500 meters away from the mobile fortified stronghold, the space twisted, and a strange devil insect with 6 insect compound eyes, a mouthful of sharp beast-like teeth, a head that looked like a combination of an insect and a dragon head, a black carapace, a scorpion tail, and a pair of insect wings flapping on the back stepped out of the twisted space, exuding moonlight warlock rank fluctuations of power. Zhang Ziqiao's pretty face fell and she exclaimed, "A mutant scorpion dragon devil insect lord. A moonlight warlock rank devil insect lord. Its innate ability is to manipulate spatial force. This is really the worst enemy." Su Fangyan looked at the mutant scorpion dragon devil insect lord and revealed a bitter smile, saying, "What a mess. Yang Feng, you've gone too far. You even alarmed such a monster." Yang Feng frowned slightly and muttered, "When the young ones are beaten, the old ones come out. This demonic realm doesn't let people have fun." The mobile fortified stronghold's artillery was fully activated, and a rain of artillery barreled towards the mutant scorpion dragon devil insect lord. The compound eyes of the mutant scorpion dragon devil insect lord flashed with red light, and a huge black spatial hole suddenly appeared in front of it. The rain of artillery fire plunged into the huge black spatial hole. At the same time, another huge black spatial hole appeared beside the mutant scorpion dragon devil insect lord, and countless attacks flew out of the black spatial hole and blasted into the mobile fortified stronghold. Boom! 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 The countless attacks broke through the mobile fortified stronghold's energy shield and blasted into the stronghold, blasting a large number of turrets on the stronghold's surface into pieces. The outer armor forged from divine bloodsteel was also blasted into tatters. Long-range attacks are ineffective. What a fearsome enemy! Seeing that the long-range attacks were ineffective, the dense crowd of bladed mechanical troops immediately flew towards the mutant scorpion dragon devil insect lord. The mutant scorpion dragon devil insect lord blurred into motion and appeared on the outer armor of the mobile fortified stronghold in practically an instant. The bladed mechanical troops blocking in front of the mutant scorpion dragon devil insect lord disintegrated in an instant, turning into countless components that fell from the sky. Yang Feng's thoughts revolved lightning fast. and his eyes flashed with determination. This is bad. It seems that I have to use my final trump card. The freaks in the demonic realm are really shameless. They actually sent Moonlight Warlock rank freaks to bully a puny great warlock like me. It seems that the losses are huge. Chapter 399. Just as Yang Feng was about to escape and detonate the 300 nuclear warheads hidden in the mobile fortified stronghold, a cyan ray descended from the sky, turned into a cyan hand, and slammed into the mutant scorpion dragon devil insect lord, slamming it into the ground. Adamov, I've caught you. A cyan mirror suddenly appeared in the sky, and Yuan Yi's voice came from the mirror. At the same time, a cyan ray of light descended from the sky and landed on the mutant scorpion dragon, devil insect overlord. The light turned into cyan shackles that tightly wrapped around the mutant scorpion dragon devil insect overlord, and slowly pulled it towards the cyan mirror. A gray energy shrouded the mutant scorpion dragon devil insect lord, desperately resisting the erosion of the cyan light. Yuan Yi, as a glorious dawn warlock, you're bullying a moonlight warlock like me. That's too despicable. If you have the ability, then go to the 4th floor and fight the great lord of the scorpion dragon devil insects, Kachimode. A vast and boundless spirit fluctuation emanated from the body of the mutant scorpion dragon devil insect overlord and spread in all directions. Everyone who sensed its spirit fluctuation understood its meaning, and the fear in its will. The strength and wisdom of Moonlight Warlock rank devil insects weren't inferior to that of human warlocks. There were even some devil insects that were smarter and more cunning than humans. Naturally, they could easily learn the language of human warlocks. The reason why it hadn't spoken before was because it disdained to speak to beings it considered inferior to itself. Yuan Yi said with a light smile, "Interesting, Adamov. You're clearly bullying the weak by attacking my junior disciple brother. To say that I'm despicable, then aren't you even more despicable? My junior disciple brother only has a great warlock rank cultivation base, while your cultivation base is 2 realms higher than his." Adamov quibbled shamelessly. That's right, I'm despicable and shameless. I'm a barbarian, a big insect, so it's normal for me to be despicable and shameless. Yuan Yi, you're a peerless genius of the demon fighting sect. Aren't you afraid of damaging the reputation of your battle demon sect by saying such despicable words? Let me go and I promise I won't do anything to your junior brother in the future. Yuan Yi said indifferently. It's useless. This was a battlefield of life and death. Do you think I would make such a stupid mistake as letting the enemy go? Seeing that he couldn't move Yuan Yi, Adamov immediately shouted madly, "Save me! Save me! Save me!" Adamov's terrifying spiritual fluctuations spread wildly in all directions, extending hundreds of miles, even thousands of miles. However, there was no movement in the demon domain, and not a single monster came to rescue Adamov. In the endless darkness, a series of incomparably obscure spiritual fluctuations made contact with it before disappearing. It was completely silent. Looks like you've been abandoned. What a pity, if only a few more people came to save you. Yuan Yi sighed with some regret. The cyan mirror flashed, and Adamov was sucked into the mirror and suppressed. Zhang Jiqiao looked at the green mirror that instantly sucked Adamov into it, and her beautiful eyes flickered with extraordinary splendor. She exclaimed in admiration, "Major General's Green Sun Treasure Mirror is really amazing." The Green Sun Treasure Mirror was a top-notch secret treasure embryo that Yuan Yi asked a Grandmaster Alchemist in the Battle Demon sect to create, and then he sacrificially refined it himself. After countless years, he finally succeeded in sacrificially refining it into a level 7 secret treasure. Its power was comparable to a weak divine force rank artifact. The Green Sun Treasure Mirror could be used for both offense and defense. In the battle where Yuan Yi became famous, he suppressed a Glorious Dawn Warlock rank freak with the Green Sun Treasure Mirror. Since then, there were very few Glorious Dawn Warlock rank freaks in the Black Ink War Zone. After all, Glorious Dawn Warlock rank freaks were very rare, precious, and powerful in the major planes. They wouldn't be dispatched lightly. Yuan Yi's laughter came from the Green Sun Treasure Mirror. "Little junior disciple brother, well done. Go ahead and kill. If anyone wants to bully the weak, I'll appear and help you suppress them." As soon as he finished speaking, the Green Sun Treasure Mirror disappeared into the void. The corners of Yang Feng's mouth rose slightly. It feels really good to have a big backer. After the variant Scorpion Dragon Devil Insect Lord was suppressed, the insect nest no longer had the power to resist Yang Feng's mechanical legion. After a bitter battle, the tide-like low-level devil insects finally retreated and fled into the darkness. Finally won. When Yang Feng saw the tide-like low-level devil insects flee from the insect nest, he heaved a long sigh of relief. The number of battle robots he invested in the mechanical legion had reached 6 million. Yang Feng's mechanical legion won and lost. As long as they won, then no matter how many battle robots were lost, they could be rebuilt. But if they lost, then a large number of battle robots would be lost, and a lot of steel resources would be needed to rebuild them. The Tyrannid subcontinent was rich in resources, but after all, they weren't infinite. If they suffered successive defeats, then the Tyrannid subcontinent's mineral resources would be depleted. After occupying the insect nest, the gunner troops sprayed flames everywhere with flamethrowers, cleaned the ground covered in insect queen liquid, and burned the parasites one by one. The insect nests were destroyed by the bladed troops one by one and thrown aside to be burned by the gunner troops. A life-form embryo with a high energy value was found. The life-form embryo is still alive. According to the analysis of the current data, the life-form embryo's current energy is comparable to that of a starry sky warlock. Once it hatches, it may even reach the Moonlight Warlock rank. Do you want to project it on the bridge? On the bridge, a voice suddenly sounded in Yang Feng's sea of knowledge. Yang Feng contemplated for a moment, and then ordered, "Don't project it on the bridge. While maintaining the integrity and viability of the life-form embryo, retrieve it." If Yang Feng could control and utilize the life-form embryo that might evolve into a Moonlight Warlock rank life-form, then he would have another trump card. Naturally, Yang Feng wouldn't share such a treasure with Zhang Ziqiao and them. Moonlight Warlock rank existences were comparable to gods in terms of strength. Even in the Great Cloud Dynasty's 10 great sects, they were first-rate experts. Once one appeared, the whole sect would celebrate and announce it to the world. Less than 37,865 grams of purple sage demonic gold were found in the surroundings of the life-form embryo. According to the analysis, the life-form embryo evolves by devouring purple sage demonic gold. Do you want the life-form embryo to continue devouring purple sage demonic gold to evolve and develop? Yang Feng's heart stirred, and he guessed the truth of the matter. It turns out that the devil insects occupied this or vein in order to obtain purple sage demonic gold to cultivate the life-form embryo. Once the life-form embryo is born, it will possess Moonlight Warlock rank strength. It seems to have great potential. Just as human warlocks consumed a lot of precious resources to cultivate Western medicine, many powerful and fearsome beings also needed to consume countless precious resources to be successfully cultivated. The Zhangji Plains underground world was so competitive because of its rich resources. Human warlocks needed the resources here, and other race experts also needed the resources here. Yang Feng's thoughts revolved, and then he said with a smile, "I have good news. I found 1 kilogram of purple sage demonic gold in this or vein. Let's divide it equally." 1 kilogram of purple sage demonic gold. When the women heard this, their beautiful eyes blossomed with extraordinary splendor. Luo Luer's eyes blossomed with stars, her tender body trembled, and her pretty face was filled with ecstasy. Treasures like the purple saint demonic gold were usually measured in grams. Even in the 10 great sects like the demonic fighting sect, one had to kill a Moonlight Warlock to obtain 1 kilogram of purple sage demonic gold. On the demonic realm's battlefield, one needed 500,000 merit points to exchange for 1 gram. If everyone divided it equally, then even if they could only get 100 grams, it would still be enough to make the women rich. Zhang Ziqiao shook her head and said faintly, "No. No gains without pains. Junior disciple Brother Yang, the mechanical golem legion under your command was the main contributor to the capture of this demonic insect nest. We only killed a few sickle devil beetles. As long as you give us the corpses of the sickle devil beetles we killed, that will be our reward." The beautiful eyes of Wang Bing and the other women shimmered with disappointment, and then with admiration. It was because Zhang Ziqiao was strong, noble, fair, and selfless that she attracted them to gather around her. There was a flash of disappointment in Luo Luer's beautiful eyes, but she quickly adjusted her mood. Yang Feng pondered for a while and then said, "Senior disciple Sister Zhang, if it weren't for your guidance, I wouldn't have been able to find this demonic insect nest. If it weren't for your guidance, I wouldn't have been able to find this demonic insect nest. How about this? I'll give you 100 grams of purple sage demonic gold as a reward." Zhang Zichao swept Wang Bing and the other women with a glance, contemplated for a while, and then nodded, "Okay." The beautiful eyes of Wang Bing and the other beautiful warlocks of the Lily mercenary group revealed looks of ecstasy. There was a flash of excitement in Luo Luer's beautiful eyes, and she said in high spirits, "Junior disciple brother Yang, do you still plan to go deeper into the demonic realm? I know of several places where many freaks gather. How about we go and wipe them out together?" In the demonic realm, the millions of mechanical legions were a terrifying weapon to wipe out ordinary freaks. Besides, there was the glorious Sun Warlock Yuan Yi suppressing the Moonlight Warlock rank freaks. This was the best opportunity. Zhang Zichao's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of desire. Following Yang Feng's mechanical legion was not only safe, but also profitable. Chapter 400. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "I have obtained enough purple sage demonic gold. The purpose of this trip to the demonic realm has been achieved. Next, I'm going to go back and enter closed-door cultivation." Zhang Zichao uttered lightly, "Well, junior disciple brother Yang, you made the right choice. For us cultivators, the most important thing is ourselves. Only our own strength is real. Your cultivation base is indeed a bit weak. Go back and practice cultivation until the Starry Sky Warlock realm, and then come out to gain experiences the right way." In the Great Cloud Dynasty, great warlock rank powerhouses were considered experts. If they joined the army, they could casually become an officer rank existence. But in the demonic fighting sect and the other 10 great sects, great warlocks were nothing. Only Starry Sky Warlock rank existences were considered experts. There was a flash of regret in the eyes of Luo Luer and the other women, and they no longer dissuaded Yang Feng. After the huge mechanical legion carefully searched the mountain range, they found a lot of rare minerals, and then began to retreat. After all the battle robots retreated to the mobile fortified stronghold, the mobile fortified stronghold rose into the air and slowly flew towards the direction of the Furious Lion stronghold. On the ground, the huge mechanical legion formed of 6 million battle robots formed a frightening mechanical flood that guarded the mobile fortified stronghold in midair as it retreated. In front of the Furious Lion fortress, the mobile fortified stronghold hovered in the air and slowly flew towards the Furious Lion fortress. Below the mobile fortified stronghold, there was a dense sea of various battle robots that stretched as far as the eye could see. "They're back. Yang Feng's mechanical legion is back. So many mechanical golems. So many mechanical golems, their number should exceed 1 million. No wonder he can get so many merit points." In front of the gate of the Furious Lion fortress, there were many warlocks gathered. The warlocks cast spells and looked into the distance with shock in their eyes. Under the shocked gazes of the countless warlocks, the mobile fortified stronghold stopped in front of the Furious Lion fortress and opened a hatch. Maintaining a fixed rhythm, a steady stream of battle robots entered the mobile fortified stronghold in an orderly manner. So many mechanical golems. There are so many mechanical golems. The number of mechanical golems exceeds 6 million. No wonder he can get so many merit points. When the spectating warlocks saw the practically endless number of battle robots enter the mobile fortified stronghold, they were deeply awed. After all the battle robots entered the portable fortified stronghold, Yang Feng and his party left the portable fortified stronghold. With a flash of light, the mobile fortified stronghold flew into a special dimensional badge in Yang Feng's hand. Yang Feng and his party strode into the Lion Feng's fortress. Along the way, the warlocks in front of the Furious Lion fortress took the initiative to make way for them. They looked at Yang Feng with envy in their eyes. Luo Luer suddenly said, "Feng. Yang Luer Feng Luo Feng Yang. Feng Ling Yang Dragon Yang Li," I said. Sage Yang Feng contemplated for a moment, then revealed a trace of a smile and said, "All right. Dragon Yang 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 said. Yang Dragon." Dragon Yang Ling Yang Feng and his party got out of the 2 magic sports cars and walked towards the Furious Lion Fortress's merit steel. That's Yang Feng. He's at the top of this month's merit steal. Yang Feng is here. What? He's Yang Feng. Next to him is Zhang Jiqiao and her Lily mercenary group. A talented man and a beautiful woman. They're really an enviable pair. When Yang Feng and company stepped into the vicinity of the merit steal, the eyes of the warlocks surrounding the merit steal lit up, and they quickly gathered around. As if surrounding an idol, they stared at Yang Feng, sized him up and discussed in low voices. When Luo Luer's gaze fell on the number next to the top of the merit steal's monthly list, she couldn't help but exclaim in admiration, 436,233,675 merit points. That's amazing. Junior disciple Brother Yang, since the establishment of the demonic realm, you're probably the first great warlock to get so many merit points in a month. Zhang Jiqiao's beautiful eyes shimmered with a complicated glint. 400 million merit points. Previously, Zhang Jiqiao dominated the merit steal's monthly list, but her monthly merit points didn't exceed 1 million. The gap between her previous first place on the merit steal and Yang Feng's first place on the merit steal was like a natural chasm. Even though she was broad-minded, but when she saw such a frightening gap, she still felt very complicated. Yang Feng swept the merit points behind the top of the list with a glance, and then smiled and revealed a look of satisfaction. More than 400 million merit points were enough for him to exchange for many good things in the demonic realm. Zhang Jiqiao's beautiful eyes flashed with determination, and she said, Junior disciple Brother Yang, we still have to go to the demonic realm to gain experience, so we'll take our leave first. Yang Feng replied with a smile, all right. Zhang Jiqiao left with the Lily mercenary group, and Yang Feng followed Su Fangyan to the Triumph City's Black Ink War Zone's headquarters. Youngest disciple brother, are you going to leave the Black Ink War Zone? In the study of the Black Ink War Zone's headquarters, Yuan Yi reclined on a sofa and asked lazily. Yang Feng smiled slightly and handed a bag to Yuan Yi. Yes. Eldest disciple brother, I was lucky enough to get enough purple sage demonic gold in the insect nest, and there's still more. Here are 10 kilograms of purple sage demonic gold. Please accept it, eldest disciple brother. Yuan Yi frowned slightly, saying, Youngest disciple brother, I said that the purple sage demonic gold is a greeting gift. Are you looking down on eldest disciple brother? Yang Feng smiled and took back the bag, saying, Eldest disciple brother, you're exaggerating. In that case, I'll accept it. Yuan Yi showed a smile, clearly in a very good mood, saying, Don't be in such a hurry to leave. Tonight, I'll introduce you to 2 friends. They're also very interested in you. First on the Great Merit Steal's monthly list, you brought great honor to the Battle Demonic sect this time. If teacher learns of this, he'll be very happy. Haha, 436,233,675 merit points. In front of this number, the Tai sect's Holy Son and the St. Lotus sect's Holy Daughter are all dregs. The Tai sect and the St. Lotus sect were the top 2 sects among the 10 great sects, and they were far stronger than the other 8 great sections. The Tai sect and the St. Lotus sect had the highest number of geniuses among the 10 great sects. The 10 great sects could join hands to fight against external enemies, but they were also constantly fighting among themselves, competing in all aspects. This time Yang Feng surpassed the Tai sect's Holy Son and the St. Lotus sect's Holy Daughter in one fell swoop, greatly increasing the Battle Demonic sect's prestige. This made Yuan Yi, who had always been indifferent, very happy. At night, the sun in the sky of the Triumph City disappeared, but the entire Triumph City was still brightly lit, looking like a city that never sleeps. The Triumph City's Golden Daffodil Hotel was the most luxurious 8-star hotel in the Triumph City. On the 8th floor of the Golden Daffodil Hotel, there stood gorgeous and beautiful female warlocks, as well as gorgeous and sexy women with strange seals on their foreheads. The countless beautiful women shuttled back and forth on the 8th floor of the hotel, clearly divided into human warlock groups and other race warlock groups. The human warlock groups looked at the other race warlock groups with disdain and contempt in their beautiful eyes. Between the 8th and 9th floors of the Golden Daffodil Hotel, there was a strange transparent space. The strange transparent space was luxuriously decorated, and wisps of exotic fragrance pervaded the space. There were 4 people sitting in that space. 2 of them were Yuan Yi and Yang Feng. As for the other two, one had a fierce-looking face and looked like a fiend, while the other had an ordinary appearance and a wooden expression, looking like a simpleton who wasn't good with words. Yuan Yi smiled and made the introductions. Youngest disciple brother, let me introduce you. These two are my good brothers. This is the Furious Lion Fortress's General Jiang Tai, and this is the Black Lion Fortress's General Wei Ming. Jiang Tai, Wei Ming, this is my youngest disciple brother Yang Feng. Jiang Tai smiled straightforwardly and said somewhat rudely, Haha, Yang Feng, well done. 436,233,675 merit points. Even if I went to the demonic realm, unless I could kill a moonlight warlock rank freak, I wouldn't be able to compare to you. Wei Ming replied curtly. Well done. Yang Feng said with a modest smile. It was just a fluke. It was all thanks to the power of my mechanical legion. Jiang Tai grinned and said, weapons and equipment are also a part of strength. Otherwise, why would we apply for so many weapons and equipment from the Imperial Court every year? Without secret treasures, we human warlocks aren't the opponents of freaks. Without the demeanor of a moonlight warlock, Jiang Tai came to Yang Feng's side, hooked his arm around Yang Feng's shoulder, pointed down, and said with a lascivious smile, Boy, which one of the chicks have you taken a fancy to? Just say the word, and she'll be yours tonight. Yuan Yi frowned slightly and said, Old Jiang, don't lead youngest disciple brother astray. Jiang Tai said with a vulgar smile. Tui Oljun, you hypocrite. There's an intellectual beauty hidden in the study, so don't pretend to be a saint. Yang Feng, don't listen to your eldest disciple brother. Men are lustful. Mortal monarchs of inferior planes have harems and 72 concubines. I, a dignified moonlight warlock, can pinch hundreds of mortal monarchs to death with one hand. What's the big deal about playing with a few women? Even if Old Wei looks like an honest person, doesn't he still keep more than 20 concubines? Chapter 401. Wei Ming smiled faintly and swept the beautiful women of different races with his gaze, looking for his favorite prey. Jiang Tai said with a smile, Old Yuan, do you want me to tell your youngest junior disciple brother about your past, and let him know of his eldest senior disciple brother's great achievements? Yuan Yi smiled helplessly, coughed lightly, and no longer tried to persuade him. Cough. Forget it. I can't out-talk you. Jiang Tai suddenly said sternly, Yang Feng, can you sell some of your mechanical legion to me? With those mechanical golems, fewer of my subordinates will die. Yang Feng picked up a glass of wine, drank it in one gulp, and said with a smile, All right. But I wonder if it's you, Big Brother Jiang? Or the Furious Lion Fortress? If it's you, Big Brother Jiang, I can give you 1 million mechanical golems. If it's the Furious Lion Stronghold who wants to buy it, then I won't stand on ceremony and will have to pay them a price. Jiang Tai said with a hearty smile, Rip them off. Rip your eldest senior disciple brother off. I'll ask him for them when the time comes. Yuan Yi also said with a light smile, Youngest junior disciple brother, do as you please. In any case, I'll send the bill to the military headquarters. As long as it's not too excessive. Although Jiang Tai was a bit vulgar, but he was very sincere. Although Wei Ming didn't say much, but his words revealed eagerness. Clearly, for Yuan Yi's sake, the two Moonlight Warlock rank powerhouses put down their airs and sincerely made friends with Yang Feng. The four people chatted happily. Yang Feng sold 9 million battle robots to the Triumph City, and then privately gifted 1 million battle robots to Yuan Yi, 200,000 each to Jiang Tai and Wei Ming. After receiving the 200,000 battle robots, Jiang Tai and Wei Ming had a favorable impression of Yang Feng. In the demonic realm, the 200,000 battle robots were a great weapon to clean up miscellaneous troops. If used well, they might even save their lives at special times. Yang Feng didn't suffer a loss. The various resources he obtained from selling the 9 million battle robots were enough for him to manufacture 900 million battle robots. Yang Feng was very satisfied that the battle robots that were about to be eliminated could be exchanged for so many resources. Time passed, and a month passed in the blink of an eye. Tyrannid subcontinent, Rose Garden, in a secret chamber, a warp gate flashed, and Yang Feng walked out of the warp gate. When Yang Feng stepped out of the warp gate, his figure blurred, and he disappeared. In the Tyrannid subcontinent, the vitality was thin. Yellow sand filled the sky, A desert that stretched as far as the eye could see. A flying carpet carrying Yang Feng descended from the sky and flew towards the desert. The desert suddenly opened up, revealing a huge entrance, allowing Yang Feng to fly into it. The underground of the desert had been completely transformed into a vast underground base, as if it had become an underground world. Once Yang Feng entered the underground base, he arrived inside a transparent cylindrical crystal transfer device, and rays of light instantly shrouded him. Yang Feng instantly disappeared from where he stood, and the next moment, he appeared on the bridge of a Level 2 portable fortified stronghold. In the captain's room of the Level 2 mobile fortified stronghold, there was a silver watermelon-sized optical computer floating in the air. That AI was the Level 2 AI of the Level 2 armed stronghold. The Level 2 AI of the Level 2 armed stronghold completely surpassed the Level 1 AI in terms of performance. Its computing power was 1 million times that of the Level 1 AI. At the same time, it was far superior to the Level 1 AI in all aspects. Yang Feng swept the Level 2 AI with a scorching glint in his eyes. He willed, and a series of messages were transmitted from the Level 2 AI. New standard weapons that can be mass-produced. Archetype Battlestar, a large battlestar, equipped with a Level 1 interstellar primary artillery. A super-large positron artillery, equipped with a super-large Level 5 variable energy shield. Requires the consumption of 50 million tons of steel, 100,000 units of dimensional crystals, and 10 units of purple sage demonic gold. General evaluation. Level 12. Elementary warp gate. A warp gate that can freely teleport within a distance of 5,000 kilometers. Large dimensional badge. A large space of 500 by 500 by 500 meters. Type 1 Starry Sky Ripper, an aerial and melee combat unit. General evaluation. Level 9. Type 1 Space Disruptor. A spatial combat unit. General evaluation. Level 9. Type 1 Sea Hunter. A naval combat unit. General evaluation. Level 9. Type 1 Gravity Manipulator. A gravity combat unit. General evaluation. Level 9. Type 1 Hurricane Manipulator. A hurricane combat unit. General evaluation. Level 9. Type 1 Ice Manipulator. An ice combat unit. General evaluation. Level 9. A variety of new combat robots with various characteristics appeared before Yang Feng's eyes. After the Level 2 optical computer and the large matter and energy converter at the core of the Level 2 mobile fortified stronghold were upgraded again, Shizu technology was unlocked once more. All kinds of extremely powerful primary battle robots with special abilities could be mass-produced. The core of Shizu's Level 2 technology was the Warp Gate and Battlestar technology. The Warp Gate technology could allow Shizu to easily control celestial bodies, while the Battlestar technology could allow Shizu to explore the boundless universe and extract countless resources from it. Yang Feng raised his eyebrows slightly and asked, "When will the production of this archetype Battlestar be completed?" The Level 2 optical computer quickly replied, "At present, its parts have already been manufactured all over the Tyrannid subcontinent. Some key materials still need to be converted and synthesized. It will take a month to complete the production." The production of the archetype Battlestar required many special parts. Even though the entire Tyrannid subcontinent had become Yang Feng's munitions factory, but it still wasn't that simple to manufacture such a large Battlestar in a short period of time. Yang Feng smiled and entered the virtual reality battle cabin. "In that case, let me test the strength of these new troops first." A few days later, Yang Feng walked out of the virtual reality battle cabin, somewhat exhausted. His eyes brimmed with excitement. These new troops are so strong. Inside the virtual reality battle cabin, Yang Feng fought fiercely with the new troops. Even with his great warlock rank strength after cultivating the taboo text, he could only defeat a siege of 50 Starry Sky Rippers at most. The movement and attack speed of the Starry Sky Rippers were as fast as lightning, and they could fly. Their only weakness was that they could only engage in melee combat, and had no special abilities. Yang Feng assessed that any Starry Sky Ripper was a match for a human sacred swordsman of the Feisua Plain. 2 Starry Sky Rippers were enough to kill an ordinary human sacred swordsman like Cassius. The various special battle robots were even more troublesome to deal with when they joined forces to fight. Once he was surrounded by the special battle robots, even Yang Feng would find it hard to escape and die countless times. Since Yang Feng cultivated the primal chaos imperishable body recorded in the taboo text, the strength of his true body had increased by a terrifying amount. He didn't even fear some ordinary junior Starry Sky Warlock rank experts. However, dozens of special battle robots could easily besiege and kill him. The terrifying strength of the battle robots could be well imagined. After Yang Feng came out of the virtual reality battle cabin, he found a large bed and went to sleep. The next day, after Yang Feng got up and washed up, he went to the biological research base in the underground base. Inside the biological research base, there were transparent cylindrical crystal petri dishes. Inside those transparent cylindrical crystal petri dishes were various kinds of extraordinary life forms from the Tyrannid subcontinent. The robots in the biological research base strictly carried out Yang Feng's orders, studying and analyzing the genes and bloodline power of the extraordinary life forms from the Tyrannid subcontinent. Along the way, Yang Feng ignored the various ferocious extraordinary life forms placed in the transparent crystal petri dishes, and came to the deepest part of the biological research base, where he stood before a transparent crystal dish. Within the transparent crystal container, there was an egg about the size of a human, with countless transparent blood vessels faintly visible. The egg was constantly trembling, and each time it trembled, it would absorb all sorts of rare minerals and culture fluids within the crystal container into its body. Yang Feng looked at the human-sized egg with a look of satisfaction in his eyes. This egg was the egg that the devil insects painstakingly hatched in the demonic realm's insect nest. In order to protect the incubation of the egg, even a Moonlight Warlock-ranked devil insect lord was dispatched. It was easy to imagine how precious this insect egg was. Yang Feng glanced at the transparent culture liquid mixed with countless precious ores inside the crystal vessel, and revealed a trace of a smile. The transparent culture fluid was a superculture fluid that Yang Feng formulated using the Level 2 optical computer's supercomputing power, after studying countless extraordinary life forms, as well as analyzing the mother insect mucus near the egg. There were also countless liquid metal nanorobots inside the superculture fluid. Every time the egg breathed, it would be eroded by the liquid metal nanorobots a little. It's time! The crystal container suddenly opened, and Yang Feng slashed with his hand. Shortly after, his right index finger split open, and drops of blood dripped into the egg. Yang Feng silently recited an incantation and pointed with his finger, and the drops of blood twisted and turned into strange bloody runes that entered the egg. After the egg absorbed the strange bloody runes, it erupted with a cruel and ruthless aura. As if a peerless beast bearing its fangs and brandishing its claws, the egg trembled. The strange blood-red runes were forced out one by one. Yang Feng snorted coldly, and the countless liquid metal nano-robots inside the egg immediately launched. Bursts of painful thoughts were transmitted from the egg, and it persisted for a few days. After persisting for a few days, the egg revealed traces of submission towards Yang Feng. Chapter 402. When the will to yield came from the egg, Yang Feng silently recited an incantation and spat out a mouthful of blood essence that sprinkled on the egg. The strange blood-colored runes shone brightly and forcefully drilled into the egg. This time the egg absorbed the strange blood-colored runes, and a feeling of being connected to the heart came from the egg. There was a flash of joy in Yang Feng's eyes, and he put the precious elixirs refined from many treasures of heaven and earth he collected in the Tyrannid subcontinent, as well as the intermediate magic crystals he had on hand into the petri dish. The egg breathed, and the precious elixirs, intermediate magic crystals, and all kinds of precious minerals in the surroundings were immediately sucked into the egg. Crack! Along with brittle sounds, the egg cracked open, and Junior Moonlight Warlock rank fluctuations of power spread from the egg. A fearsome flame ejected from the egg and slammed into the top of the biological research base. In a flash, the super alloy armor on the top of the biological research base, which could withstand attacks from Starry Sky Warlock rank powerhouses, melted open a huge hole extending towards the ground. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he flew out of the big hole. When he arrived in the desert, he looked up at the sky. Flying in the sky was a centipede that was about 2 meters long. Its body was covered in golden flames and gave off a boundless scorching light. It had a centipede body and 3 pairs of insect wings on its back. Its entire body was covered in mysterious demonic runes. The centipede exuded junior moonlight warlock rank aura. Yang Feng looked at the centipede flying in the sky with a flash of ecstasy in his eyes, and he exclaimed, "Six-winged sun-devouring centipede. I hit the jackpot, it's such a treasure." Six-winged sun-devouring centipedes were a top royal race among devil insects. They were extremely rare, but at the same time they had astonishing potential and were extremely powerful. Once a six-winged sun-devouring centipede was born, it would possess moonlight warlock rank power. After it evolved into a mature form, it would possess glorious sun warlock rank power. If it evolved into an evolved form, it would possess bright world warlock rank power. If it evolved into an ultimate form, it would possess infinity warlock rank power. As for the mature form, as long as the six-winged sun-devouring centipede was nurtured for a few hundred years and given sufficient resources, there would not be any bottlenecks for it to advance to the mature form. As for the evolved body and ultimate body, that would require great luck. Even in the savage insect plane, there were only a few evolved and ultimate six-winged sun-devouring centipedes. The six-winged sun-devouring centipede was very happy. It faced the sky and let out a sharp roar. A terrifying pressure spread out from its body and swept across the entire Tyrannid subcontinent. In one of the back gardens of Rose Garden, the 3 Carolina sisters were having a tea party. Clarissa had ruthlessly betrayed Carolina at the time, but they had basically become Yangfeng's women and formed a small alliance in Yangfeng's harem. However, the distance between the 3 of them was a little subtle. Carolina and Cordelia sat closer to each other, and their relationship was also more intimate. Clarissa was a little far away from them. In fact, absolutely no one would do so. Because to open an astral gate with their own strength, only an infinity warlock with the help of a special secret treasure could do it. And after an infinity warlock opened an astral gate, they wouldn't be able to maintain the astral gate for a long time, let alone determine the coordinates to return to. In order to travel and adventure in the astral boundary, one could only use a large number of astral stones and various rare materials to create an astral gate and fix the coordinates to the Zhangji plane. By entering the astral boundary through an astral gate that could exist for a long time, one wouldn't get lost in the astral boundary and could return to the original place according to the coordinates. If one fell into the astral boundary without a fixed coordinate, then even an infinity warlock would get lost in the astral boundary. If they wanted to return to their original plane, they could only rely on luck. The astral palace was the gathering place of the battle demonic sect's astral gates. As long as they paid enough sect contribution points and resources, inner sect disciples and above could enter the astral gate and explore the secrets of the astral boundary. A young man dressed in black arrived in front of the astral palace along a passageway. It was Yang Feng. Yang Feng took a deep look at the astral palace and then strode into it. Inside the astral palace, a handsome young man sitting on a counter was carefully studying a book. The young man looked up at Yang Feng and asked with a smile, "This is the astral palace. I am Zhang Lei. May I ask who you are, senior disciple brother?" Yang Feng handed Zhang Lei his identity card and said, "I am Yang Feng, a personal disciple of Great Elder Huang Yihe. This is my identity card. I came here to explore the astral boundary." "So it's senior disciple brother Yang." Zhang Lei's complexion suddenly changed, and he became more enthusiastic. "Senior disciple brother Yang Feng, the astral boundary is very dangerous. Even moonlight warlock rank powerhouses often die inside. Have you really thought it over? There were many dangers in the astral boundary. Not to mention moonlight warlocks, even glorious dawn warlocks and bright world warlocks might die if they were careless." Yang Feng said lightly, "I have already thought it over. As expected of a personal disciple of a great elder, you're really extraordinary." While praising, Zhang Lei took out another jade card to verify Yang Feng's identity, pointed to a teleportation array, and said, "Senior disciple brother Yang, please go there." Yang Feng nodded and went to the teleportation array. A vast and terrifying might suddenly rose and descended on the astral palace. Detection spells fell on Yang Feng like raindrops to check whether he was another race, or some other strange being impersonating him. The Astral Palace was one of the most important places of the fighting demonic sect. Once the Astral Gate in the Astral Palace was destroyed, then the powerhouses exploring the astral boundary through the Astral Gate would lose their coordinates and get lost in the astral boundary, never to return. After being inspected by spells, light flickered, and Yang Feng disappeared from the teleportation array. A spatial fluctuation flickered, and Yang Feng appeared in a secret chamber. In the secret chamber, there was only a 10-meter-tall, gloomy, and extremely strange astral gate. Originally, you have to pay 500,000 sect contribution points to use the astral gate. However, as a personal disciple of Great Elder Huang Yihe, you have a chance to use the astral gate for free once a year. Although the sect contribution points can be exempted, but the astral stones consumed to use the astral gate cannot be exempted. Have you brought enough astral stones? An old voice rang out in the secret room. Without special talents or unique algorithms, even Bright World Warlock and Infinity Warlock rank existences would fall into chaos in the endless fog, eventually go crazy, and turn into strange astral boundary life forms. Many strange astral boundary life forms were formed from formidable existences of other planes who mistakenly entered the astral boundary and were eroded by the astral boundary. However, in the Zhangji plane, human warlocks captured countless astral boundary life forms. After conducting research on them, they finally developed various algorithms to analyze the astral fog. With this, human warlocks could use the astral boundary to find planes, occupy them, and absorb knowledge and resources from them to strengthen themselves. The computing power of the Level 2 optical computer was terrifying. After importing the astral fog's algorithms, about an hour later, a holographic projection appeared in the center of the bridge. The holographic projection clearly showed that the arc-shaped interstellar battleship had extended into the void. Within a radius of 100 miles, it was extremely empty. There was nothing there. This was reconstructed by relying on the supercomputing power of the Level 2 optical computer to reproduce the surrounding environment and scenery. With Yang Feng's great warlock rank strength, without the assistance of special secret treasures, he could at most reconstruct an environment with a radius of 10 meters. It would be difficult to move an inch in the astral boundary. Yang Feng tightly grasped the astral card in his hand and returned to the location of the astral gate. Only then could he pass through the astral gate and return to the fighting demonic sect. Without the astral card, even if he passed through the location of the astral gate, he wouldn't be able to return to the fighting demonic sect through the astral gate. Yang Feng willed and light shrouded him. He disappeared in a flash. In the next moment, he appeared in a secret chamber of the battle star. In the secret chamber there was a top-notch warp gate. Yang Feng took a deep look at the top-notch warp gate and said indifferently, "Activate the S2 warp gate." Activating the S2 warp gate. Beginning environment scan and analysis. The environment is in a distorted and unstable state. Activating the warp gate will consume an additional 50% of energy. Activating the S2 warp gate will consume 20% of the ship's energy. Maintaining the warp gate will consume a lot of energy. Do you want to activate it? Yang Feng raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect that activating the warp gate in the astral boundary would consume so much energy. It should be noted that activating the warp gate between the Feisua plane and the Tyrannid subcontinent would consume 5% of the Arc Battlestar's energy at most. Yang Feng ordered decisively, "Activate it." Even though the energy consumption was huge, but Yang Feng still had to test it out. This was related to his judgment of whether or not to fight when he encountered an enemy in the future. Inject energy. Activate the warp gate. Along with the messages, the top-notch warp gate shone brightly and slowly opened. Yang Feng stepped into the warp gate and appeared in a secret underground base on the Tyrannid subcontinent. In the secret underground base, in addition to the top-notch warp gate, there were also countless dimensional troop carriers. The dimensional troop carriers stored the most advanced battle robots, as well as all kinds of war materials and massive amounts of high-energy crystals. When he saw this, the corners of Yang Feng's mouth rose slightly, and he revealed a satisfied smile. The top-notch warp gate could allow Yang Feng to cross the barrier between the astral boundary and the Zhangji plane freely. This meant that Yang Feng could even establish a bridgehead in the astral boundary and freely travel between the astral boundary and the Zhangji plane. During the era of the Zhangji plane's 7 warlock emperors, human warlocks established numerous bridgeheads in the astral boundary and used them as a base to advance to countless planes. In modern times, the strength of the Zhangji plane's human warlocks declined sharply. Furthermore, internal strife continued, and the Zhangji plane split into 2 warlock forces, the Eastern world and the Western world. Naturally, the bridgeheads in the astral boundary were unable to protect them, and were destroyed one by the astral life forms. Now, only the 10 great sects like the demonic fighting sect might have their own bases in the astral boundary. It hasn't been long since Yang Feng joined the demonic fighting sect and became a personal disciple of Huang Yihe. As such, he didn't know many secrets. He didn't know where the demonic fighting sect's base in the astral boundary was. Otherwise, it would be safer to enter the astral boundary from the demonic fighting sect's base. In fact, Yang Feng didn't even know whether the demonic fighting sect had a base in the astral boundary, because that was one of the demonic fighting sect's core secrets. After Yang Feng replenished a large number of high-energy crystals and nuclear fusion fuel from the base in the Tyrandot subcontinent, he returned to the Arc Battlestar. Set off. The Arc Battlestar shone brightly, ejected streams of flames from its stern, and flew towards the depths of the astral boundary at a rapid speed. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. The Arc interstellar battleship flew in the astral plane for a few days without any accidents or discoveries. It was as if the astral plane was an endless, empty, and dead place. Warning! Warning! Something similar to a meteorite is approaching. Something similar to a meteorite is approaching. Suddenly, a series of warning sounds came from the Arc-type interstellar battleship, and on the holographic projector in the captain's room, a dense rain of stones suddenly appeared and flew towards them. Yang Feng's face flickered, and he immediately ordered, "Fuck! Activate the energy shield at maximum power." A transparent energy shield suddenly appeared and enveloped the entire Battlestar. Almost in the next moment, the meteorites slammed into the Arc Battlestar's energy shield one after another like shooting stars. The impact force of each meteorite was extremely frightening, comparable to an all-out attack of a Starry Sky Warlock rank powerhouse. When they slammed into the energy shield, they set off ripples and then collapsed and splashed about. Energy shield consumed by 5%. Energy shield consumed by 8%. Under the impact of countless meteorites, the energy consumption of the Battlestar's energy shield rose steadily. Chapter 404. The energy shield's energy consumption is 72%. When the energy of the protective shield was left with 28%, all the meteorites had completely collapsed and were scattered in front of the interstellar battleship. Yang Feng looked at the surrounding meteorite fragments with lingering fear. Astral meteorites are really dangerous. If I had come here alone, I might have been killed. The scanning range of the level 2 optical computer was 100 kilometers, while Yang Feng's reconstruction of the astral boundary's environment was only 10 meters. If his true body had suddenly encountered the astral meteorite swarm, he would have been smashed into mincemeat. After the Battlestar withstood the attack of the astral meteorite swarm, it immediately stopped and began to recharge the energy shield. A dense crowd of engineering robots equipped with flight equipment suddenly flew out of the Battlestar, flew towards the surrounding meteorite fragments, and began to collect the meteorite fragments scattered around the Battlestar. This is astral stone and astral gold. It seems that the harvest this time is not small. When the meteorite fragments were collected back into the Battlestar, the feedback information immediately made Yang Feng overjoyed. The meteorite fragments contained many astral stones and astral gold fragments. Astral stones were a necessity to operate astral gates, while astral gold was one of the precious materials necessary to manufacture an astral gate. In the demonic realm, Yang Feng used more than 400 million merit points to exchange for astral stones that could be used for about a year. The amount of astral stones he obtained from the meteorite shower was more than 10 times that of the astral stones he exchanged for in the demonic realm. Just the harvest from resisting the astral meteorite shower was enough for Yang Feng to recoup all of his investments. There were countless precious resources in the astral boundary. It was because of this that top powerhouses, despite knowing that the astral boundary was fraught with dangers, still entered the astral boundary like moths to a flame in search of treasures. When Yang Feng thought of the few days of fruitless flight, he pondered for a while, and then made a decision. It's really inefficient to search in the astral boundary without a clue. Release the drones. Watermelon-sized drones flew out of the battlestar like raindrops. Their speed rose to the limit, and with the battlestar as the origin, they flew in all directions. The moment the drones were sent out, the holographic projection on the interstellar battleship expanded rapidly. At the same time, the hatch of the arc-shaped interstellar battleship opened, and a dense swarm of battle robots flew out and stood on the surface of the interstellar battleship, vigilantly defending. Inside the astral plane there was an area filled with countless floating meteorites. A watermelon-sized unmanned reconnaissance aircraft, which was dozens of times smaller than a fighter jet, flew over the meteorite zone. Suddenly, as if awakened, the meteorites in the meteorite field stretched and turned into freaks with a pair of miniature dragon wings on their backs. They have no eyes, nose, or ears, but only a mouthful of sharp teeth. Terrifying great warlock rank auras gushed out of the freaks and rushed towards the unmanned drone like raindrops. In the blink of an eye, the unmanned drone had disappeared. Inside the astral plane, a sun-like celestial body radiating countless rays of light was suspended in the void. An unmanned reconnaissance aircraft flew over from afar. 2,000 kilometers away from the sun-like celestial body, it began to vaporize, turned into a ball of flames, and turned into a strange magma state that was sucked into the celestial body. Inside the astral plane, there was a boundless, seemingly devoid of light, dark area. An unmanned reconnaissance aircraft had just flown to the edge of the dark area, when it emitted a click and stopped, completely losing contact with the battlestar. Inside the astral plane there was a world full of ice cubes. In the world full of ice cubes, there were countless existences sealed in ice. There were giants, humans, ancient demons, and many astral monsters. There was a deathly stillness without a trace of vitality. An unmanned reconnaissance aircraft had just flown to the edge of the world, when it was frozen and turned into an ice cube. Similar scenes continued to play out in the astral boundary. A month later, of the 1 million unmanned reconnaissance aircraft released by the battlestar, more than 800,000 had lost contact with the Level 2 optical computer inside the battlestar. Of the 800,000 unmanned reconnaissance aircraft, 400,000 had lost contact with the Level 2 optical computer for some unknown reason. Clearly, those places were very dangerous. In the astral plane, the unmanned reconnaissance aircraft encountered many astral life forms, but they were destroyed by the astral life forms in a flash. There were even many unmanned reconnaissance aircraft that were destroyed before they could discover the astral life forms. Yang Feng could only let the battlestar sail along the already explored safe routes, while gritting his teeth and continuing to send a large number of unmanned reconnaissance aircraft into the astral plane to search for safe routes. In the astral plane, once the unmanned reconnaissance aircraft were destroyed, they were destroyed for good, and could not be recycled. However, for the sake of safety, Yang Feng could only continue to send unmanned reconnaissance aircraft into the depths of the astral plane. In the astral plane, a demon powerhouse with a horn on the head, a wolf-like head, and a pair of wings on the back was flying. The level of civilization of the demons was not inferior to that of the Zhangji Plains human warlocks. When the Zhangji Plains human warlocks were still slaves and playthings of the archgods, the demons had already set foot in the astral plane. The wolf-headed demon powerhouse suddenly exclaimed in surprise, then extended his hand, surged with demonic chi, and grabbed an unmanned reconnaissance aircraft from the void. "Hey, what's this?" "This is a reconnaissance aircraft of the Golem Dynasty's 9th Astral Plane Fleet. Those who receive this order are to report to the Blacklight Warship immediately. Those who disobey will be exterminated." A domineering and peerless command was issued from the reconnaissance plane in a mechanical synthesized voice. The wolf-headed demon showed a look of ecstasy on his face instead of being alarmed. Golem Dynasty. The Zhangji Plains 6th Warlock Dynasty's fleet in the astral plane. Haha, this time I Sly Wolf seemed to be in luck. The Golem Dynasty was a terrifying dynasty of human warlocks that suppressed countless planes. Even if something leaked out from the ruins of the Golem Dynasty, as long as it was thoroughly researched, it might be possible to establish a terrifying force similar to the demonic battle sect. At the time, demons were as obedient as dogs in front of the Golem Lord. They knew how terrifying and powerful the Golem Dynasty was. Now that there was an opportunity to obtain the inheritance of the Golem dynasty, the demon powerhouse Sly Wolf was naturally excited. This thing came from this direction. Sly Wolf turned its head and looked in the direction from which the reconnaissance aircraft came, and its eyes shimmered with greed. It blurred into motion, turned into a stream of light, and flew in that direction. On the bridge, the corners of Yongfeng's mouth rose slightly, and he ordered, "It took the bait, activate the camouflage system." The exterior of the huge battlestar changed rapidly. From a brand new battlestar brimming with a metallic texture, it changed into an ancient warship riddled with scars and mottled, looking as if it had gone through countless battles and withstood the baptism of time. It flew in the astral plane by inertia, although the astral plane was shrouded in fog at all times, but in fact the astral plane was in a strange state of vacuum. Many objects could drift in the astral plane by inertia as long as they weren't attracted by celestial bodies, meteorites, or freaks. A black ray of light flew over from afar and stopped not far from the battlestar. Looking at the battlestar from afar, it was Sly Wolf. Sly Wolf stared at the battlestar for a while, then its eyes flickered a few times, and it revealed a look of delight. So many mechanical golems. It seems that this is the mechanical golem legion of the 6th Warlock dynasty's 3 golems that struck terror into the hearts of many planes. Sly Wolf pondered for a while, then silently recited an incantation, pointed at the battlestar, and cast Disintegrate. A green ray of light turned into a streamer and shot towards a starry sky ripper on the surface of the interstellar battleship. In an instant it hit the starry sky ripper. With a flash of light, the starry sky ripper disintegrated and dissipated in an instant. As if a hornet's nest was poked, the starry sky rippers outside the battlestar flew up in an attempt to fly towards Sly Wolf. However, after flying several kilometers away from the battlestar, the starry sky rippers turned around and flew back to the battlestar, where they patrolled in a fixed orbit. Sly Wolf's eyes flickered and it revealed a smile. Its figure blurred, and it turned into a black ray flying towards the battlestar. When a starry sky ripper sensed Sly Wolf's arrival, its eyes flashed red, and it suddenly slashed at Sly Wolf. The power of the starry sky ripper's slash was comparable to that of a human sacred swordsman of the Feisua plane. Even if it was a human great warlock, they would still be cut in half. Sly Wolf smiled ferociously and extended its right claw. 2 clouds of demonic chi condensed on its right claw, and it forcibly grabbed the super high-frequency oscillation blade in the starry sky ripper's hand. The super high-frequency oscillation blade in the starry sky ripper's hand vibrated wildly, and the demonic chi in Sly Wolf's hand dispersed. Sly Wolf smiled excitedly and slashed with its claw, and black claw rays flashed and cut the starry sky ripper into countless pieces. Interesting. As expected of a golem of the Golem dynasty. Even such a low-level golem's weapon can threaten this demon king. Chapter 405. As if poking a hornet's nest, the starry sky rippers outside the battlestar flew towards Sly Wolf. A bunch of trash golems break for this king. Sly Wolf smiled malevolently, surged with demonic chi, and spread starry sky warlock rank might. It turned into a black ray that shuttled back and forth among the starry sky rippers. Boom! 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 Black light flashed around the starry sky rippers, and they immediately exploded, with all kinds of parts splashing everywhere. After a dozen starry sky rippers were destroyed, the chests of the starry sky rippers shone brightly, and level 3 energy shields activated in an instant and enveloped them. With a flash of black light, Sly Wolf slammed a blow into the energy shield in front of a starry sky ripper and set off ripples, yet didn't destroy the energy shield. This is a defensive spell. Unfortunately, it's at most equivalent to the strongest level 3 single-target defensive spell. It's useless against me. Sly Wolf's eyes flashed with surprise, and it smiled coldly. Demonic chi boiled on its claws, and it slashed out, and black claw rays enveloped a starry sky ripper and slashed it to pieces in an instant. Starry sky rippers pounced on Sly Wolf, but they were sliced and destroyed one by Sly Wolf at a ghostly speed. A few hours later, the hundreds of starry sky rippers outside the battlestar were destroyed by Sly Wolf one by one. What powerful mechanical golems! They actually made me spend so much effort. I'm really looking forward to the relic site of the Golem dynasty. After the sly wolf destroyed the last starry sky ripper, it heaved a long sigh of relief, took out magic crystals, stuffed them into its mouth, and ate them with crunching sounds. At this moment, the hatch of the interstellar battleship opened, and various special battle robots such as Starry Sky Ripper, Space Disruptor Eye, Gravity Manipulator Eye, Hurricane Manipulator Eye, Ice Manipulator Eye, and other special battle robots rushed out, forming a mechanical torrent that surged toward the Sly Wolf. Sly Wolf looked at the dense swarm of battle robots and inhaled a breath of cold air. Sure enough, the relic site of the Golem dynasty isn't that simple. The relic site of the Golem dynasty doesn't have a powerful barrier. Yet it hasn't been swept clean. It seems that it's because of these mechanical golems. Although Sly Wolf destroyed hundreds of starry sky rippers, but it also consumed a lot of magic power. It naturally knew how powerful these battle robots were. The evolved gunner robots locked onto the Sly Wolf with their 6-barreled railguns and frantically bombarded it. Railguns comparable to level 4 single-target offensive spells shot towards the Sly Wolf like shooting stars. Even many Moonlight Warlock rank experts without the protection of a life force field would be injured when hit by the railgun beams. Sly Wolf silently chanted an incantation, demonic light surged, and a spatial fluctuation enveloped his body. He stretched out his hand, and a strange spatial hole appeared in front of him. The electromagnetic beams blasted into the spatial caverns, and then disappeared one after another. Holding umbrella-shaped space disruptors in their hands, the Type 1 space disruptors opened, and spatial ripples spread in all directions. The railgun beams of the railgun, and then one after another, covered Wolf. The densely packed electromagnetic cannons completely enveloped the werewolf. Sly Wolf's face fell, and it gushed with fearsome demonic chi. Strengthened by the demonic chi, it resisted the bombardment of the railgun with its fleshly body. Countless rays of light flashed, and the Sly Wolf directly rose into the sky while withstanding the bombardment of countless electromagnetic cannons. Dozens of huge wounds appeared on its body, and drops of demonic blood continuously dripped from its body to the ground. The Type 1 gravity manipulator wielded the gravity gun and fired wildly at the werewolf. The densely packed gravity spheres formed a net of light that completely covered the werewolf's movement path. This was a net of light calculated by the Level 2 artificial intelligence, using its terrifying computing power. The werewolf simply had nowhere to hide. The Sly Wolf's figure twisted a few times, and its speed suddenly rose to the extreme. However, it still collided with a gravity ball, and directly fell on the outer layer of the interstellar battleship like a meteor. The densely packed gravity balls bombarded the body of the ghoul wolf like raindrops, causing it to spit out blood again and again. Couldn't even move a finger. The starry sky rippers erupted with terrifying speed in an instant, rushed to in front of the Sly Wolf, and brandished their super high-frequency oscillation blades and slashed at the Sly Wolf. Amidst a wave of incomparably shrill cries, the Sly Wolf was instantly dismembered into countless pieces, and only its head remained intact. Interesting. This Sly Wolf seems to know a lot about the astral boundary. On the bridge, Yang Feng browsed through the information he read from the Sly Wolf's head, and the corners of his mouth rose into a smile. The Sly Wolf was born into the winged wolf demon race, a branch of the demon beasts. It was one of the demon monarchs of the winged wolf demon race. According to ranks, demons were divided into junior demons, intermediate demons, advanced demons, junior demon generals, intermediate demon generals, advanced demon generals, demon commanders, demon monarchs, and demon emperors. Demon commander rank experts were comparable to human great warlocks, demon monarch rank experts were comparable to human starry sky warlocks, and demon emperor rank experts were comparable to human moonlight warlocks. Above demon emperors were demon god rank experts. The Sly Wolf set out from a demon base in the astral boundary, the astral demon realm, and headed for a demon base located near a planar star river. It wanted to see if it could buy a semiplane from the demon base. A planar star river was a very strange place in the astral boundary. Within the planar galaxy, demiplanes would be born. Not long after these demiplanes were born, they would disappear from the planar galaxy due to the astral boundary's laws, and very strangely appear in secret places in the astral boundary. According to many legends, countless planes were born from the astral boundary, and the source of the planes was the planar star rivers in the astral boundary. In the astral boundary, there was more than one planar star river. However, it wasn't that simple to obtain the specific location of a planar star river. Demons were one of the strongest races known to human warlocks, so it wasn't strange for them to find the location of a planar star river. In the past, when the Zhangji Plains humans were at their peak, they controlled more than 10,000 planar star river locations. Chapter 406. According to the ancient records of the Zhangji Plain, humanoid demons were very rare in the ancient times. At that time, the strongest demons were beast demons, other demons, and ogre demons. Beast demons, other demons, and ogre demons were considered to be the most beautiful beings. Very few demons were willing to mate with humanoid demons. The Zhangji Plain's 7 great warlock dynasties emerged and suppressed countless planes. The third warlock dynasty, the demonic divine dynasty, captured countless gods and demons from various planes and used them as slaves. After the third warlock dynasty, the humanoid demons rapidly multiplied and prospered. The humanoid demons became the most powerful race among demons, suppressing other demon races. By now, the humanoid demons had become one of the most powerful races among demons. In fact, before the 7 great warlock dynasties, the aesthetic standards of the various top planes were different. With the emergence of the 7 great warlock dynasties and the suppression of many planes, human warlock civilization and aesthetic concepts spread to many planes along with the footsteps of the human warlocks. By now, powerful beings of many planes would have a human avatar or take human form, which was due to the influence of the 7 great warlock dynasties. Strength was the truth, strength was the mainstream. Before the 7 great warlock dynasties, the civilization of the Eastern world swept the entire Zhangji Plain, and the forces and subordinate subcontinents of the Zhangji Plain took pride in learning the civilization and customs of the Eastern world. The King of Dawn appeared out of nowhere and suppressed the entire world. He founded the Dawn dynasty, which allowed the Western world to rise and stand on equal footing with the Eastern world. Furthermore, the Western world's civilization began to gradually infiltrate the Eastern world. After strolling around the Azure Demon City for a while, Yang Feng saw Demon Commander rank experts everywhere. As for Demon Monarch rank experts, he could occasionally see them. The Demon Monarch rank experts came to the Azure Demon City with only one purpose, and that was to find a way to get a semi-plane. The uses of a half-plane were extremely broad. If one wanted to become a god and have their own divine kingdom, then they would need to have a half-plane, and then use the planar laws and the various laws they comprehended as the framework, divine power, and countless rare resources as the filler. It would take hundreds or even thousands of years to establish a divine kingdom. In addition, if the demiplane was carefully nurtured and countless resources were invested, that demiplane might grow into a complete plane. Even if that demiplane couldn't become a complete plane, having a demiplane was equivalent to having a vast private space and nest. Thus, many experts would come to the astral boundary in search of a half-plane. It was very difficult to find a demiplane in the boundless astral boundary. The probability of finding a demiplane in the planar star river was much higher than searching aimlessly in the astral boundary. Therefore, those Demon King-level powerhouses would come here, hoping to obtain a half-plane. After walking on the street for a while, Yang Feng walked into an inn, arrived in front of a room on the 3rd floor of the inn, and punched the door of the room. With a loud bang, the door of the room was blown to pieces. In the room stood a demon with a tiger's head and a human's body, a sexy and gorgeous young woman with a horn on her head, dazzling blonde hair, and large breasts, a ghostly powerhouse with 2 30-centimeter-long horns on his head, and a 3-meter-tall giant demon powerhouse with taut muscles and an ugly and ferocious face. Surging with demonic chi and exuding Demon Commander rank might, the 4 demon powerhouses stared coldly at Yang Feng. The eyes of the demon with a tiger's head and a human's body shimmered with a cruel and tyrannical glint, and he barely suppressed his fierce nature and asked slowly, "Who are you?" Yang Feng smiled coldly and waved his hand, and a fist-sized skull flew towards the demon with a tiger's head and a human's body. "I am an emissary sent by Sir Sly Wolf Demon Monarch. This is my token." When the demon with the tiger's head and a human's body grabbed the skull, he poured demonic force into it, and the skull exuded terrifying might unique to Sly Wolf Demon. The demon with a tiger's head and a human's body had an unsightly expression on his face, and he asked coldly, "Does Sly Wolf Demon Monarch not trust us?" The faces of the other demons also became somewhat unsightly. In this room, the 4 great warlocks were semi-plane hunters who specialized in searching for semi-planes. Demon King rank powerhouses and above found it difficult to enter the planar Star River, so they would hire many Demon Commander rank powerhouses to enter the planar Star River and search for semi-planes. Semi-plane hunters were such existences. In the Azure Demon City, there were tens of thousands of Demon Commander rank powerhouses. These tens of thousands of Demon Commander rank powerhouses were semi-plane hunters who specialized in searching for semi-planes. The rest of the low-grade demons in the Azure Demon City were specially migrated here to serve the demi-plane hunters and vent their lust. Yang Feng said indifferently, "Sir naturally trusts you. However, Sir thinks that it's more appropriate for me to watch from the sidelines." The fierce glint in the eyes of the demon with a tiger's head and a human's body converged slightly, and he said fiercely, "Since it's Sir Sly Wolf Demon Monarch's will, then join us. However, I hope that you won't get in the way during the mission. Otherwise, even if you are Sir Demon Monarch's subordinate, I will still tear you to shreds." Yang Feng smiled faintly and didn't argue. The 5 of them exchanged indifferently for a while, and Yang Feng got to know the basic situation of the other 4 demons. The demon with a tiger's head and a human's body was called Taiken. The demon with blonde hair and blue eyes was called Pohana. The ghost demon was called Sel, and the troll demon was called Azal. The 4 demons were very indifferent to Yang Feng. Clearly, they didn't have a good impression of Yang Feng, who came to monitor them. 2 days later, Yang Feng and his party walked out of the Azure Demon City. As soon as he left the barrier of the Azure Demon City, the strange astral fog appeared in front of Yang Feng. He frowned slightly and put on a headband inlaid with an intermediate magic crystal. Strange light gushed out of the headband, allowing Yang Feng to see through the astral fog, as if the astral fog didn't exist. The reason why the Sly Wolf Demon Monarch could cross the astral boundary with his fleshly body, apart from his tyrannical strength, was that the headband-like secret treasure allowed him to see through the astral fog easily. The other 4 demons equipped themselves with secret treasures that could see through the astral fog, and came to a flat ground outside the Azure Demon City. Taiken silently recited an incantation and waved his hand. With a flash of black light, a 30-meter-long black flying boat engraved with mysterious runes appeared in front of the 5 demons. With a light leap, he landed on the black flying boat. Yang Feng followed the other 3 demons and jumped onto the black flying vessel. Taiken silently recited an incantation and pointed at the black flying boat. The black flying boat immediately released demonic light and flew into the sky. Few days later, exuding silver light, as if it contained a small universe, a silver fetal membrane with no end in sight appeared in front of Yang Feng and company. Yang Feng looked at the huge silver fetal membrane, and shock flashed past the abyss of his eyes. So this is a planar Star River. Even from thousands of kilometers away, Yang Feng could still sense the fearsome aura of a nurturing plane coming from the silver fetal membrane. There was endless wealth in a planar Star River. God knows how many powerhouses were eager to break into it and plunder wantonly. But since ancient times, apart from the Zhongji Plain 7 warlock emperors and a few peerless powerhouses of the same rank, only powerhouses below the great warlock rank could enter a planar Star River. Many powerhouses above the Moonlight Warlock rank had never entered a planar Star River in their lives. Similarly, some Bright World Warlock and Infinity Warlock rank powerhouses had never entered a planar Star River in their lives. After flying for half a day, the black flying boat reached the edge of the silver fetal membrane and touched it. After setting off ripples, it entered the silver fetal membrane. The silver fetal membrane was about 300 kilometers thick. After flying for 300 kilometers, the black flying boat finally flew out of the silver fetal membrane. As soon as he entered the silver membrane, a resplendent galaxy appeared in front of Yang Feng. Countless stars were scattered in the dark void. It was as if he was looking at the countless stars in the Milky Way galaxy from a spaceship. Taiken took off a black headband and said lightly, "In this planar Star River, there is no interference from the astral fog. You can take off the headband." Yang Feng smiled, took off the headband, and looked into the distance. There was no longer any interference from the astral fog. With his great warlock rank extraordinary vision, Yang Feng could clearly see stars radiating gloomy light everywhere in the planar star river. Taiken said with a dignified expression, Kuei Wolf, due to the restrictions of the astral laws, we outsiders can only allow great warlock rank powerhouses to enter the planar star river at most. However, the life forms born in the planar star river are not restricted by the astral laws. There may be demon monarchs, and even demon emperors and transcendent rank powerhouses. Don't be careless. Yang Feng nodded, took a deep look at the celestial bodies and asked curiously, the celestial bodies are so far away from us, and there are so many of them. How do we find semi-planes? In the planar star river, the distance between celestial bodies was calculated in light years. Yang Feng didn't want to stay in the planar star river for decades. Taiken said lightly, most of the outer celestial bodies have been explored. They are all worthless and dead celestial bodies. We can only search in unknown areas to find a valuable half-plane. Chapter 407. In the boundless star river, the distance between the celestial bodies is too great. Only by using the astral boundaries laws and using the astral passageway can we travel between the celestial bodies. Taiken took out a fist-sized astral stone and placed it in a groove on the black flying vessel, then silently recited an incantation and pointed at the black flying vessel. A black ray entered the black flying vessel. The black flying vessel swayed, then shone with black light, and a twisted track appeared in front of the black flying vessel. With a flash of light, the black airship entered the twisted track and disappeared. After a few breaths of time, a twisted hole suddenly appeared in front of a celestial body, and the black flying vessel flew out of the twisted hole. Amazing! Standing on the black flying vessel, Yang Feng turned his head and saw that the silver membrane was already who knows how many light years behind him. He couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Taiken glanced at the flying vessel underfoot and sighed lightly. The star magic vessel's grade is too low. It can only travel through the astral passageway once a day. It would be great if I had a high-grade star magic vessel. The star magic boat was an extremely precious artifact among the demon race. Taiken and them accepted Archwolf's employment in order to have their own star magic vessel. Even Archwolf, a demon monarch rank expert, could only afford a low-grade star magic vessel, which could only travel through the astral passageway once a day. Even if they had enough astral stones, they still couldn't go to a second celestial body. Yang Feng glanced at the celestial body next to him and said, Taiken, have you been to this celestial body before? Taiken replied indifferently, this is a worthless celestial body. There is no life on this celestial body, nor are there astral stones, astral gold, or other precious resources unique to the astral boundary. There are only some ordinary iron, copper, and other metal ores. It's very barren. Yang Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. For demon experts like Taiken, iron, copper, and other metal ores weren't of much use. Demons wouldn't spend precious astral stones to come to planar star rivers to mine low-grade ores such as iron and copper. But it was different for Yang Feng. He could obtain energy through nuclear energy, electrical energy, wind energy, solar energy, and various other methods, while the metal minerals required to manufacture a mechanical legion were relatively limited. The metal resources of a subcontinent in Tyrandit subcontinent were not enough to support the establishment of an unlimited mechanical legion. Yang Feng said, Taiken, I want to take a look at the celestial body. Taiken said indifferently, sure, but you have to remember to come back before this time tomorrow. All right. After Yang Feng agreed, he circled around the star magic vessel and carefully observed it. At the same time, he recalled the star magic vessel's refining method in his mind. In the battle demon sect, there was also a method to refine secret treasures like the star magic boat. However, refining an astral secret treasure like the star magic boat required an alchemist with an understanding of the astral laws. Such alchemists were extremely rare in the battle demon sect, less than 5. Additionally, refining a secret treasure like the star magic boat also required a large number of astral stones, astral gold, and other precious astral ores. Even moonlight warlocks would find it very difficult to get their hands on a secret treasure like the star magic boat. Most of the star magic boats used by Demon Commander rank experts in the Azure Demon City were treasures given to them by demon emperors and demon gods. Demon Commander rank experts couldn't get their hands on a star magic boat. By chance, Archwolf obtained a star magic boat, which was how he was able to rope in Tychon and the other 3 Demon Commander rank experts to help him look for a semi-plane. Tychon and the other 3 demons returned to their respective rooms on the star magic boat. After confirming that the star magic boat could only cross the astral passageway once a day, Yang Feng raised his hand, and nano-robots turned into dust and sprinkled it on the star magic boat. After doing all this, Yang Feng's eyes flashed with satisfaction, and he turned into a stream of light and flew towards the celestial body below. The celestial body below also had a thin atmosphere. As soon as Yang Feng flew into the atmosphere of the celestial body, he felt his body sink slightly. Attracted by the celestial body, he flew towards the interior of the celestial body and landed on the ground very smoothly. After he landed, Yang Feng looked around and saw that the surroundings were earth-yellow, empty, and full of a deathly stillness and desolation feeling. Yang Feng pointed at a rock on the ground and cast the spell stone to mud. An earth-yellow magic light enveloped the rock, and the rock immediately softened and turned into a pile of mud. An invisible mage hand grabbed the large pile of mud and threw it aside. A copious amount of mud splashed, and a huge hole quickly appeared, forming a very wide underground base. Yang Feng took out a top-notch warp gate, installed it, and started to operate it, activating S2 warp gate. Scanning and analyzing the environment. The environment is in a distorted and unstable state. Activating the warp gate consumes an additional 100% of energy. Activating S2 warp gate consumes 50% of the energy in the inventory. In addition, maintaining the warp gate also consumes a lot of energy. Do you want to activate it? Yang Feng ordered decisively. Activate. Inject energy. Activating warp gate. Along with the messages, the top-notch warp gate shone brightly and slowly opened. Yang Feng stepped into the warp gate and returned to the secret base on the Tyrannid subcontinent. Before long, Yang Feng returned from the warp gate. He used the engineering robots to quickly dig out a huge space in the ground and directly released a level 1 mobile fortified stronghold. At present, the second level 2 mobile fortified stronghold was under construction. At present, Yang Feng only had the level 1 mobile fortified stronghold that had already been built. From the level 1 mobile fortified stronghold, engineering robots were released from the distant level 1 mobile fortified stronghold to excavate or build a nuclear power plant, collect energy, and methodically develop the celestial body. When he saw this, Yang Feng showed a look of satisfaction. His figure fluttered, and he rushed into the sky and flew towards the star magic vessel. A month passed in the blink of an eye. With the power of the star magic vessel, Yang Feng and his party passed through 30 celestial bodies in succession. These celestial bodies were all abandoned celestial bodies without any life. At the same time, they didn't have precious resources like astral stones and astral gold. Tychon and the other 3 demon powerhouses didn't even bother to go down and check, because they had been through this route many times. Yang Feng, on the other hand, went down and checked each celestial body. In this way, he could easily lock the position of these celestial bodies. Although there were no treasures like astral stones and astral gold on the surface of these celestial bodies, but they were rich in resources on the inside. On the celestial body that Yang Feng placed in the mobile fortified stronghold, some astral stones, astral gold, and other rare ores were excavated from inside the celestial body. On this day, on the star magic vessel, Tychon and the other 3 demon commanders were fully armed and had dignified expressions, contrary to their previous lazy state. Kuei Wolf, the place we took previously was a safe route in the outer layer of the planar star river that has been explored countless times. In the outer layer of the planar star river, most of the celestial bodies are abandoned and of little value. The probability of semi-planes appearing there is not much higher than in other places in the astral boundary. Next, we're going to the inner layer of the planar star river. In the inner layer of the planar star river, it is relatively easy to come across semi-planes. However, the inner layer is also 10 times more dangerous than the outer layer. You have to be prepared. Tychon said solemnly. Yang Feng nodded. Tychon silently recited an incantation and pointed at the star magic vessel. With a flash of black light, the distorted astral passageway reappeared, and the star magic vessel flew into it. With a flash of distorted light, the star magic vessel passed through the distorted astral passageway and appeared on the edge of a celestial body. Pohana looked at the meteorites surrounding the celestial body, and her beautiful eyes flashed with ecstasy. Astral stones. Astral stones! The eyes of Sel, Azal, and the other demon powerhouses lit up and flickered with ecstasy as they stared at the meteorites surrounding the celestial body. The establishment of planar passageways, astral gates, star magic vessels, and other secret treasures that used the astral boundary required a large number of astral stones. Astral stones were a hard currency in both the demon race and the human race. They could be used to trade for many precious treasures and cultivation resources. On the Zhangji plane, astral stones were a precious or resource slightly inferior to purple sage demonic gold, and were also measured in grams. The three demon commanders Pohana, Sel and Azal surged with demonic chi, turned into rays of light, flew into the meteorite belt, and took away the meteorites containing astral stones. Yang Feng's eyes flickered a few times, then he blurred into motion and flew into the meteorite belt. With a wave of his hand, numerous fist-sized level 2 extraordinary life form, the giant strength bees, flew out of a beehive in his hand and scattered in all directions. The more than 100,000 giant force bees pounced on the meteorites containing astral stones, grabbed the meteorites containing astral stones, and flew towards Yang Feng. A large number of meteorites containing astral stones disappeared in front of Yang Feng and entered his storage ring. When the three demon commanders Pohana, Sel and Azal saw this scene, their countenances changed slightly. They looked at each other, then surged with demonic chi, turned into 3 streams of light, and flew away from Yang Feng in an instant. They cast secret methods to collect astral stones. Moreover, he was cruel and bloodthirsty, and liked to eat the hearts of all kinds of powerhouses. Even among demons, he was an extremely ferocious and loathsome character. The heart-eating young demon monarch raised his eyebrows, glanced at Yang Feng and his party with great interest, and revealed a cruel smile. "Oh, you little ants also know of this monarch's name. Very well, this monarch is in a good mood today. Hand over all your secret treasures and resources, and this monarch will be merciful and let you live." A gloomy expression on his face, Tychon said coldly, "Nothing the heart-eating young demon monarch says can be trusted. Those who believe in him are all dead." The heart-eating young demon monarch smiled ferociously, stared at Pohana with a snake-like gaze, and said coldly, "Haha, that's right. Those who believe in this monarch are all dead. However, this monarch has always been gentle to women. The woman over there, if you don't want to die, then come and join this monarch. Otherwise, this monarch will be the first to cook you alive." Pohana's pretty face paled, her tender body trembled slightly, and her face revealed a wavering look. She was not a chaste woman to begin with, and she had no objection to becoming the woman of the heart-eating young demon monarch. She was just worried that the heart-eating young demon monarch would go back on his word and kill her. The heart-eating young demon monarch looked at them with a playful expression, his eyes filled with peculiar intoxication. Yang Feng calmly retreated a few steps to the side. Tychon's complexion changed slightly, and he shouted, "Pohana, have you forgotten our friendship of hundreds of years?" Pohana's complexion changed slightly, and her eyes shimmered with determination. She took a step forward, raised her head and said loudly, "Heart-eating young demon monarch, don't try to sow dissension. I will never betray my companions." Tychon's eyes shimmered with an enigmatic gleam, and he heaved a sigh of relief. Suddenly, Pohana retreated briskly. Sharp claws more than 30 centimeters long ejected from her right hand. Carrying frightening demonic chi, the claws suddenly stabbed into Tychon's heart with lightning speed, and then dug out Tychon's heart. After her attack succeeded, Pohana's figure blurred, and she flew towards the star magic vessel where the heart-eating young demon monarch was. Why? As a demon commander rank powerhouse, Tychon's vitality was dozens of times greater than that of humans. After his heart was dug out by Pohana, his eyes were bloodshot, and he bled from his facial orifices. Pohana showed a bewitching smile, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with ridicule. Because I want to live. Taiken, you idiot. How could I disobey the heart-eating young demon monarch for you? Are you out of your mind? You actually believe me? Taiken's eyes were filled with anger. His body swayed slightly and he fell to the ground. His eyes were wide open, and he died with everlasting regret. Well done. The heart-eating young demon monarch grinned and extended his hand, and a tremendous suction force pulled Pohana to his side. He tore off her clothes and fiddled with them. Pohana's pretty face flushed, and her eyes wandered. Exuding a charming aura, she said coquettishly, "This is what I should do." Chapter 409. The heart-eating junior demon monarch showed a sinister and playful smile, then extended a finger and rubbed Pohana's heart, saying, "Very well, darling, help me do one more thing. That was to kill him. As long as you kill him, I'll make you my woman. Otherwise, I'll eat your heart." Pohana's delicate body stiffened, and she squeezed out a smile and said, "Yes, I'll kill him." Pohana's figure fluttered, and she flew towards the star magic vessel. "Kue Wolf, please die for me." A sinister glint flashed in Pohana's eyes. Demonic aura surged on her body, and purple demonic patterns surged on her body. A layer of black battle armor suddenly covered her body. A pinnacle demon commander rank aura diffused from her. Pohana was able to join the planar search team because she was strong enough. Even among the Azure Demon City's demon commander rank powerhouses, she could be ranked in the upper middle. Pohana's figure fluttered, and 3 afterimages suddenly appeared and shot towards Yangfeng lightning fast from 3 different directions. The 3 afterimages exuded the same aura, making it impossible to tell which one was the real one. Yangfeng pressed the dimensional badge on his chest, and Starry Sky Rippers suddenly appeared. 3 Starry Sky Rippers brandished super high-frequency oscillation blades and slashed at the 3 afterimages. The afterimage on the left flashed, and a large amount of blood sprinkled in the air. The afterimage screamed and turned into a cloud of black mist. The Starry Sky Rippers slashed at the black mist, but to no avail. The level for spell vaporization was one of the most suitable spells to resist physical attacks. Yangfeng silently recited an incantation, pointed with a finger, and unleashed the level for spell Fire Dragon. A 30-meter-long fire dragon suddenly appeared and pounced at the black mist. Blood-curdling screams came from the black mist, and it quickly condensed into the figure of Pohana with a weak aura. "No! Don't kill me! Kue Wolf, spare me! I beg you, spare me! As long as you spare me, I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to do anything." Pohana let out a miserable shriek as soon as she appeared, a look of terror on her face. The 6 Starry Sky Rippers instantly erupted with speed. Leaving afterimages behind, they suddenly appeared in front of Pohana at the terrifying speed of Mach 10, and slashed with their super high-frequency oscillation blades, cutting Pohana into pieces, leaving only her severed head. The heart-eating junior demon king's eyes flashed with ridicule, and he said condescendingly, "What a ruthless method. They didn't even hesitate to kill their own companions. I admire you very much. Hand over all your treasures and become my dog. I can spare your dog life. Kill them all, don't leave a single one alive." With an indifferent expression on his face, Yangfeng pressed the dimensional badge on his chest, and hundreds of Starry Sky Rippers, space disruptors, gravity manipulators, wind manipulators, ice manipulators, and other special battle robots suddenly appeared and flew towards the heart-eating young demon monarch and company like meteors. "How dare you!" When the heart-eating young demon monarch saw this, his eyes flashed with anger. As if a lofty monarch was provoked by a commoner, demonic chi churned and surged around him, and his eyes flickered fiercely. He silently recited an incantation, pointed at the battle robots, and conjured the level for meteorological spell Corrosive Tempest. Clouds of terrifying demonic chi churned and surged, before condensing into drops of terrifying demonic rain that could easily poison a level 2 warlock to death, suddenly appearing. A fearsome demonic wind suddenly erupted and swept the corrosive demonic rain towards the hundreds of battle robots. To deal with a large number of weak beings, Large-scale meteorological spells were undoubtedly the best way to deal with them. The layer of spatial fluctuations enveloping the heart-eating junior demon monarch collapsed in an instant, causing his face to change dramatically. The gravity ball slammed into the heart-eating junior demon monarch in a flash and pressed him to the ground as if he was carrying a mountain on his back. A starry sky ripper flew to the head of the heart-eating young demon king in a flash and chopped down, directly beheading the heart-eating young demon king. No, with a look of incredulity on his face, the heart-eating junior demon monarch issued a miserable scream, and then he bled from his facial orifices and lost his vitality. The heart-eating junior demon monarch was a quasi-demon monarch rank powerhouse. In the Azure Demon City, he was a fierce character ranked in the top 20 among demon commanders. Coupled with the help of a dozen-plus demon commander rank concubines, he was a practically invincible existence among the demon commander rank. Yet now he was easily killed by Yangfeng's battle robots. He naturally didn't want to believe this fact, and died with everlasting regret. Yangfeng frowned slightly, looked at Taiken's corpse and sighed slowly, losing a guide. This is troublesome. Although Yangfeng could use methods to read memories from the minds of Taiken and them, but it wasn't that simple to memorize and use the memories at will. After reading the memories of Taiken and them, it was like having a database with their memories that could be searched. If Yangfeng encountered any problems, he would have to search through the optical computer, which would slow him down a lot. Moreover, the database didn't have the experience of Taiken and them. It was very troublesome to deal with them instinctively. After Yangfeng extracted all the blood essence of the demon experts, he carefully sized up the heart-eating junior demon monarch star magic vessel for a while, and his eyes revealed a look of satisfaction. This star magic vessel is not bad. It should be an intermediate star magic vessel. It can cross astral passageways up to 3 times a day. Not bad. Yangfeng put away the low-grade star magic vessel, went to the intermediate star magic vessel, and began to check the harvest of the battle. Taiken and Pohana only had some astral stones and astral gold on them that were more precious. Although the heart-eating junior demon monarch was a quasi-demon monarch rank powerhouse, but he only had some astral stones and astral gold on him that were more precious. In addition, everyone contributed more than 1 million low-grade magic crystals, 500 intermediate magic crystals, and a variety of materials used by demons for cultivation. Yangfeng was very satisfied with this many magic crystals. After all, he had to use magic crystals to practice cultivation. The main contributor of magic crystals was the quasi-demon monarch rank powerhouse, the heart-eating junior demon monarch. He didn't know where he came from, but he had more magic crystals than the demon monarch Sly Wolf. The demon monarch Sly Wolf only contributed a little more than 500,000 magic crystals. After the inventory was done, Yangfeng didn't take back the battle robots. Instead, he had them scattered in every corner of the star magic vessel, and then began to read the memories of Taiken, the heart-eating junior demon monarch, and company regarding planar star rivers. After carefully examining the memories of the heart-eating junior demon monarch, Yangfeng's eyes flashed with a peculiar glint. It turns out that in addition to the outer layer and inner layer, planar star rivers also have a core area and an inner layer. Finding a semi-plane in the inner layer is also a matter of luck. The number of semi-planes in the core layer is more numerous. The heart-eating junior demon monarch wants to go to the core layer. As for the inner layer, it's too dangerous. Even if a moonlight warlock enters, there's a great chance that they will die. No one can enter it. Yangfeng's eyes lit up and flashed with excitement. That's right. This is a semi-plane that can grow continuously. It's also the main material to refine a true divine country. A semi-plane that could grow continuously was the main material to refine a divine country. Without a semi-plane, even gods couldn't refine their own divine country out of thin air. Without a divine kingdom of their own, the divine spirits were inferior to the other divine spirits, and they lacked a sense of security. Yangfeng waved his hand, and a fist-sized black secret treasure semi-plane seal sphere suddenly flew out and landed on the semi-plane. Black rays of light rushed out of the demiplane sealing sphere and shot towards the demiplane below. Under the illumination of the black light, the demiplane slowly shrank inch by inch. Even with a specialized secret treasure, it was still very strenuous for Yang Feng to seal a semiplane with his great warlock rank cultivation base. 10 days passed in an instant and the demiplane finally shrunk to the size of a fist and flew towards the demiplane sealing sphere inch by inch. Suddenly, Yang Feng's face flickered and he looked north. A warship that was over 1,000 meters long and was completely forged from white jade dragon bone. And it gave off a terrifying dragon's might. It was similar to the Star Magic ship. On the battleship, there were several hundred experts from the dragon clan with dragon horns and handsome appearances. Their bodies were enveloped in a thick layer of dragon aura, and their faces were filled with arrogance. In the center of the warship, there was a litter decorated with countless fist-sized pearls, covered in starry sky warlock rank tiger-type extraordinary life-form fur, and inlaid with countless bright gems. In the luxurious litter sat a handsome young man dressed in a white robe. He had a pair of golden dragon horns on his head, and his eyes flickered with golden light, full of majesty and domineeringness. When Yang Feng saw the dragon expert sitting in the luxurious litter, his heart shook slightly, and his eyes shimmered with graveness. This fellow isn't easy to deal with. The golden horn dragon expert dressed in a white robe glanced indifferently at Yang Feng. His golden eyes radiated excitement, and he uttered loftily, "Semi-plane. Not bad, I didn't come all the way from the plane of dragons to the core area of the planar star river in vain. Demon, hand over the semi-plane and scram. I'm in a good mood today, so I don't want to kill anyone." Dragons were one of the apex existences of extraordinary life forms. In terms of individual strength alone, the strength of the dragon clan was far above that of the devil clan. If it wasn't for the low reproductive ability of pure dragons, and the scarcity of primordial dragons, archaic dragons, and immemorial dragons, the warlock emperors of the 7 warlock dynasties might not have been able to suppress the plane of dragons. According to legend, when the founder of the first warlock dynasty, the Time Lord, ascended to the throne and suppressed the plane of dragons, he once fought with a primordial dragon of the plane of dragons. Although he managed to suppress the primordial dragon, he was also gravely injured. In the end he died young and died young. Of course, there were also legends that the Time Lord was seriously injured by the many archgods of the Zhangji plane when he fought with them, leading to his early death. No matter what kind of legend it was, there were several stories of primordial dragons fighting with the Time Lord. The strength of dragons could be well imagined. Yang Feng pointed with his hand, and the semiplane seal sphere opened and devoured the shrunken semiplane. He put it away and sneered coldly, "I am the demon commander Kue Wolf, a subordinate of the demon emperor Cartman. You bastard, you want to threaten me? Do you want to be exterminated?" A very beautiful dragon expert smiled coldly, took a step forward and barked, "A trifling demon emperor dares to threaten His Highness Delican. What a fool! Lowly demon commander, the sir in front of you is His Highness Delican, the 9th son of the plane of dragons archaic 8-headed gold dragon King Brannies. Why don't you kneel down and repent for your sins? Do you want your race to be exterminated? Even junior demon gods have to be respectful in front of His Majesty Brannies. Who do you think you are?" Delican's eyes flashed with a cruel glint, and he said coldly, "Enough. Kadi, this demon ant dares to provoke me. The few of you go and exterminate him." "Yes, Your Highness." A dozen-plus dragon experts bowed towards Delican in salute. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered with a cold glint, and he pressed the dimensional badge on his chest, and battle robots flew out of the dimensional badge. The situation could break out at any moment. At this moment, whistling sounds came from afar, and a fearsome black demonic wind gushed out from the depths of the planar star river and swept towards everyone. In the wake of the fearsome black demonic wind, bright stars dimmed and disappeared from the starry sky. When Delican saw the black demonic wind suddenly appear in the distance, his complexion changed dramatically, and he cried out, "Shit! Star River Darkstorm!" On the huge white jade dragon bone warship, the faces of all the experts of the dragon clan changed greatly. They quickly chanted incantations and cast powerful spells on themselves. Star River Darkstorm was a terrifying natural disaster of the planar star river. Once a star was hit by it, it would be extinguished. Even if it was a bright world warlock rank expert, their fleshly body would be extinguished and their soul shattered by the star river dark storm full of dark energy. As long as a great warlock rank expert was grazed by it, only death would await them. Yang Feng's complexion changed dramatically, and he silently recited an incantation and pointed at the star magic vessel. A twisted passageway suddenly appeared. The astral passageway twisted wildly and became chaotic. Clearly, it was greatly affected by the star river dark storm, and became extremely unstable. Yang Feng gritted his teeth and steered the star magic vessel towards the astral passageway without hesitation. Once he was hit by the star river dark storm, he would be dead. This was the only choice he could make. Delican's complexion changed several times, and he silently recited an incantation and pointed with a finger, and magic light enveloped the white jade dragon bone warship. The white jade dragon bone warship exuded astral aura, and light enveloped it and entered the void. A huge hole suddenly appeared, and a twisted and chaotic astral passageway appeared in front of the white jade dragon bone warship, which looked like it could collapse at any time. The white jade dragon bone warship also flew into the astral path without hesitation, leaving traces of light in its wake. Chapter 4:11. On a continent that stretched as far as the eye could see, the space in midair twisted, and a white jade dragon bone warship flew out shakily and landed on the ground. As soon as Delican flew out of the white jade dragon bone warship, he cast the spell Dragon Eye and pointed at the sky. A golden vertical eye like that of a giant dragon suddenly appeared in the sky, looking in all directions. Delican's eyes flashed with excitement, and he laughed out loud. Here, could it be that place? Haha, it seems that my luck is really good. On the same continent, the space twisted, and a 300-meter-tall, glistening emerald green tree suddenly flew out of the space and landed on the ground. A peerlessly beautiful high elven girl with a pair of pointed ears, dressed in emerald green leaf armor, and exuding the aura of nature flew out of the huge tree and looked at the huge spherical mountain range in the distance, and her beautiful eyes flashed with excitement. Is this the place? How lucky! It seems that I haven't wasted the past dozen-plus years in vain. On the same continent, the space twisted, and a huge meteorite 1,000 meters in diameter shot out of the space and landed on the ground. 100-meter-tall bald giant clad in a layer of armor walked out of the meteorite, holding a huge beast bone in his hand. On the same continent, the space twisted, and a demonic ship surrounded by demonic chi flew out of the space and landed on the ground. This scene continued to play out in this endless continent. On the same continent, the space twisted, and a battered intermediate star magic vessel flew out of the space and landed shakily on the ground. When the intermediate star magic vessel was about to hit the ground, Yang Feng suddenly flew out of the star magic vessel, operated the dimensional crest, and stored the star magic vessel away. What is this place? Yang Feng looked around and saw that the surroundings were lush with all kinds of rare plants. At the same time, the continent was filled with formidable life magic energy. With a thought, Yang Feng activated the dimensional badge, and countless drones suddenly flew out from the dimensional badge and flew in all directions of the continent. Yang Feng took out a phone-like holographic projector and pressed it. Beams of light shot out from the holographic projector, and formed a holographic projection in midair, gradually projecting the terrain of this continent. When an unmanned reconnaissance aircraft flew over an emerald green lake, a water arrow shot out from the lake and instantly pierced through the unmanned reconnaissance aircraft. The water arrow then sucked the unmanned reconnaissance aircraft into the lake. When an unmanned reconnaissance aircraft passed by a tree that was thousands of meters tall, a huge blue flower suddenly bloomed, and a blue light enveloped the unmanned reconnaissance aircraft. The unmanned reconnaissance aircraft immediately fell into the mouth of the tree and disappeared. Unmanned surveillance drones flew around the strange continent, gathering information about the terrain, but they were destroyed by the terrifying extraordinary creatures that covered the entire continent. Yang Feng looked at the images of the drones being destroyed, and his eyes flashed with a touch of graveness. What a dangerous place. This should be a rare life star in the astral boundary. Furthermore, it's a high-level life star that can give birth to powerful extraordinary life forms. Life stars were very rare in the astral boundary, and they were divided into 4 grades. low-level life stars, middle-level life stars, high-level life stars, and superior life stars. Low-level life stars could only give birth to level 3 warlock rank experts at most. Middle-level life stars could give birth to starry sky warlock rank experts. Superior level life stars could give birth to glorious dawn warlock rank experts. Superior level life stars could give birth to invincible experts comparable to the 7 warlock emperors. Of course, superior level life stars were very rare in the astral boundary. Only the few warlock emperors and their strongest subordinates had encountered them while traveling in the astral boundary. Is this the legendary planar celestial sphere? A place that can give birth to a semi-plane seed. Yang Feng's face suddenly flickered, and he willed, and a certain place in the holographic projection of the continent was instantly enlarged. In the center of the vast continent, there was a huge hemispherical mountain range, from which traces of desolate and ancient aura diffused. In the center of the huge hemispherical mountain range, there was a dazzling light spreading in all directions. According to legend, in the core area of a planar star river, there were some life stars that could give birth to semi-planes. These life stars were called planar celestial spheres. In the astral boundary, this was one of the few places where semi-plane seeds could be obtained. In the center of the huge hemispherical mountain range, there was a place where semi-plane seeds could be nurtured. Yang Feng willed, and dozens of drones flew towards the center of the huge hemispherical mountain range. The dozens of drones had just flown to the vicinity of a dense forest when a terrifying astral world creature with a height of 100 meters, a crocodile-like head, a pair of fleshy wings on its back, and a long tail that resembled a giant dragon suddenly flew up, opened its mouth and inhaled. A whirlpool appeared in the mouth of the astral life form, and the drones flew into the mouth of the astral life form. Yang Feng's face flickered and he willed, and the drones flew towards the huge hemispherical mountain range from all directions. The 100-meter-long astral thunderbirds surrounded by lightning seemed to be alarmed by something. They suddenly flew out of their nests and flew towards the unmanned drones. Bolts of lightning flashed, and the drones fell from the sky one after another. In the middle of a desert, a sand-like yellow storm suddenly took shape and swept toward the sky. One by one, the drones were swallowed up by the terrifying storm and disappeared. Such a scene was not uncommon on the celestial life form. Not a single drone could reach the huge hemispherical mountain range before it was wiped out by the extraordinary life forms along the way. When Yang Feng saw this scene, his face turned gloomy. Yang Feng took a deep look in the direction of the hemispherical mountain range, and his eyes shimmered with a fierce glint. The planar celestial sphere should be located on a high-level life celestial body. These high-level life celestial bodies can give birth to glorious dawn warlock rank powerhouses at most. However, astral life forms don't have the wisdom of human warlocks, so there's nothing to fear. Watch as I crush my way through. A semi-plane seed was more than 100 times more difficult to obtain than a complete semi-plane. Only the 7 warlock emperors and other powerful beings of the same rank could freely enter and exit planar stars, and easily obtain a semi-plane seed. Otherwise, even if it was an infinity warlock rank powerhouse or a clone of a strong divine force rank god, they would have to rely on luck to obtain a semi-plane seed. Since Yang Feng had a chance to obtain a semi-plane seed, he didn't want to let it go. Yang Feng pressed the dimensional badge on his chest, and a level 1 mobile fortified stronghold appeared in front of him. Yang Feng quickly entered the level 1 mobile fortified stronghold, installed a top-notch warp gate, and activated it. The doors of the level 1 mobile fortified stronghold opened, and a steady stream of bladed robots, gunner robots, artillery robots, starry sky rippers, and other battle robots poured out of the mobile fortified stronghold. Not long after, a huge mechanical army poured out of the mobile fortified stronghold. Since the level 2 mobile fortified stronghold had just been manufactured, most of the level 8 battle robots weren't discarded. Instead, they were modified and their weapon systems were replaced, and then directly transported from the Tyrandot subcontinent to be used as cannon fodder. After the bladed robots and other battle robots were replaced with new weapons and equipment, although their performance was still far inferior to that of the new robots, but their destructive power was dramatically enhanced. Yang Feng looked at the dense mechanical legion, mused for a while, and then entered an ordinary mechanical shield troop, and then stayed away from a special captain's mech. The special captain's mech was red, 12 meters tall, forged entirely from divine blood steel, and equipped with a small positron cannon. Even if it was a Moonlight Warlock rank powerhouse, they would be seriously injured if hit by the small positron cannon. After Yang Feng hid inside the mechanical shield troop, he operated the mechanical shield troop to stay away from the captain's mech. Although the performance of the captain's mech was far greater than that of an ordinary mech, but the risk was also great. It was very easy to attract the siege of powerhouses. After more than 1 million battle robots poured out of the mobile fortified stronghold, the engines of the battle robots started, and they turned into a torrent of steel that sped towards the hemispherical mountain range. Before long, an extremely dense forest covered by 100-meter-tall giant trees, through which not a trace of light could penetrate, appeared in front of the mechanical legion. The bladed troops' engines roared, and they rushed to the giant trees in a few leaps and bounds. They brandished the super high-frequency oscillation blades in their hands and slashed at the giant trees. One after another, the giant trees were directly chopped into two by the bladed troops. Lumps of blood-like sap abruptly flowed out from the severed parts. Bladed troops equipped with flight equipment rose into the air and flew into the distance. The sound of the bladed troops' engines alarmed the extraordinary life forms hidden in the mountain peaks. A 100-meter-long astral storm falcon shrouded in gales, a 200-meter-long astral dragonwing centipede with a pair of dragon wings, and a 10-meter-long astral thunder lion shrouded in lightning flew out of the mountain peaks and rushed over. The astral storm falcon was born with the power to manipulate wind elemental particles. After reaching adulthood, it possessed quasi-starry sky warlock rank strength. As soon as it appeared, a cold glint flashed in its eyes, and the mysterious natural wind magic pattern on its forehead flickered with radiance. Streams of wind elemental particles revolved around its body, and in the next moment, extremely violent wind blades chopped towards the bladed troops one after another. When the violent wind blades slashed at the bladed troops' energy shields, they split the bladed troops' energy shields and cut them into countless parts that fell from the sky. The astral world dragonwing centipede opened its mouth and sprayed out a black beam of light, which exploded on a bladed troop. It easily penetrated the bladed troop's protective cover and fell on the bladed troop's body, corroding it into a pile of black poisonous liquid, which sprinkled on the ground from the sky and issued sizzling sounds. The astral thunder lion's whole body flickered with lightning. Lightning, as if lightning snakes, descended from the sky and bombarded the bladed troops. The bladed troops' protective covers as well as the bodies inside were charred black, and the bladed troops fell from the sky. Suddenly, starry sky rippers ejected from the countless battle robots and rushed towards the three quasi-starry sky warlock rank astral life forms. The astral dragon-winged centipede opened its maw, and dozens of black beams suddenly shot out, pierced through the energy shields of dozens of starry sky rippers, slammed into the bodies of the dozens of starry sky rippers, and corroded them into poisonous liquid. But in the next moment, nearly 100 starry sky rippers appeared beside the astral dragon-winged centipede and slashed at the astral dragon-winged centipede with super high-frequency oscillation blades. Along with miserable screams, the astral dragon-winged centipede suffered hundreds of injuries, and the pair of dragon wings on its back was chopped into pieces by the starry sky rippers. In an instant, the astral dragon-winged centipede and the starry sky rippers both suffered heavy losses. Before the astral dragon-winged centipede could react, it was chopped into countless pieces by the starry sky rippers and fell from the sky. On the other side, the astral thunder lion erupted with countless lightning snakes and flashes of lightning, and dozens of starry sky rippers were smashed into pieces. The starry sky rippers were crushed. Railgun beams fired from below slammed into the astral thunder lion and blasted it into pieces, and it fell from the sky. Seeing that the situation was anything but reassuring, the astral storm eagle rode a gust of wind and fled into the distance. A ferocious and tyrannical aura gushed out from the mountain range, and an astral beast more than 500 meters long, looking like a small mountain, with a pair of huge fleshy wings, a snake-like head, sharp teeth, a sharp sword-like tail, sharp bone spurs on its back, a strange magic rune on its forehead, and exuding moonlight warlock rank fluctuations of power flew out. The eyes of the huge astral beast flickered with cruel and tyrannical light, and it looked at the astral storm eagle. The quasi-starry sky warlock rank astral storm eagle screamed, and strange pustules appeared on its body, and then it burst open and turned into a pile of pus that spilled on the ground. Yang Feng, who was hiding in the mechanical legion, frowned and his scalp turned numb. Damn it! I ran into the most annoying enemy. This is a moonlight warlock rank extraordinary life form, and one with the innate talent of curses. Moonlight warlock rank extraordinary life forms with the innate talent of curses were extremely terrifying. Some moonlight warlock rank curse extraordinary life forms could cast a curse on a warlock family for generations, making them suffer for eternity. The curse of some moonlight warlock rank curse extraordinary life forms could kill all the people of the same bloodline in a bloodline warlock family. In planar adventures, what human warlocks hated the most was to encounter such freaks with the innate talent of curses. As soon as the astral beast appeared, the massive mechanical legion's heavy firepower poured down on the astral beast in a frenzy. Countless super electromagnetic guns formed a rain of light that blasted toward the astral beast, completely sealing off the space it had to dodge. The astral beast's eyes shimmered with ridicule, and spatial fluctuations surged from it. When the railgun beams slammed into the astral beast, they twisted, and then slammed into the mountain behind it, blasting holes in the mountain. The astral beast opened its mouth and inhaled, and a vortex suddenly appeared in front of it. The starry sky rippers were sucked into the vortex by the terrifying suction force, collided with each other, and shattered into piles of broken parts. Hundreds of starry sky rippers plunged into the terrifying maelstrom and were crushed to pieces. The Type 1 space disruptor launched, and spatial interference ripples suddenly appeared and enveloped the astral beast. The spatial ripples on the astral beast instantly disappeared, and the densely packed super electromagnetic gun blasted its body like raindrops, tearing apart its protective scales. In an instant, countless bloody holes the size of toothpicks appeared on its body. Chapter 4:13. A black light flashed on the astral beast's body, and the numerous wounds on its body quickly healed in a somewhat despairing manner. The dense bombardment of the super electromagnetic gun seemed to have no effect, and the damage to the astral beast was completely healed in an instant. The astral beast opened its mouth, and a black beam of light shot out from its mouth, sweeping towards the mechanical army below. In the area enveloped by the black beam of light, the battle robots collapsed and shattered. Even if they activated their energy shields, they still couldn't resist the black beam of light in the slightest. After the black beam of light disappeared, a huge fan-shaped ravine extending for more than a dozen kilometers appeared on the ground. The ravine was littered with the remains of countless melted battle robots. With just one attack from the astral beast, more than 80,000 main battle robots were destroyed. Yang Feng, who was hiding in the rear of the mechanical legion, couldn't help but have his complexion change greatly. He calmly slowed down and quietly hid in a hidden corner at the rear of the mechanical legion. After the 80,000 battle robots were destroyed, a look of exhaustion streaked past the astral beast's eyes, and a spatial fluctuation enveloped it. In the next moment, the astral beast instantly appeared in the middle of the mechanical legion and extended its claw towards the captain mech. After the surrounding space disruptors were destroyed, the astral beast could freely use spatial force to shuttle through space. The captain mech activated an energy shield. At the same time, the small positron cannon on its shoulder fired at the astral beast's claw. With a dazzling radiance, the positron beam slammed into the claw of the astral beast and blasted a bloody hole in it. That astral beast did not dodge or evade. It swiped down with its claws. Seemed slow, but it was actually fast. It grabbed the captain's mech in its hand and squeezed it hard, crushing it into pieces. Yang Feng, who was hiding in the distance, felt a chill in his heart when he saw this scene. If he was hiding in the flashy captain mech, he would have been crushed by the astral demonic hand by now. The densely packed gravity spheres blasted out from the mechanical army and bombarded the body of the astral beast. The astral beast's body sank, and it fell to the ground. Type 1 frost manipulators suddenly stepped forward and shot at the astral beast's wings with freezing guns in their hands. Rays of freezing light shot at the wings of the astral beast. Immediately, huge chunks of ice formed on the wings of the astral beast, and a terrifying icy force spread towards the body of the astral beast. Starry Sky Rippers suddenly shot out and flew towards the astral beast's tail. The super high-frequency oscillation blades in their hands slashed wildly, cutting the astral beast's tail into a bloody mess and riddled it with scars. The artillery robots were holding small positron cannons. They were like small turrets as they fired at the astral beast's eyes. A dense rain of positron beams slammed into the astral beast's head and blasted open fist-sized bloody holes. One of the astral beast's eyes was shattered. The astral beast's tail suddenly moved, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into countless afterimages that bombarded the surroundings. Wherever the afterimages passed, all the Starry Sky Rippers were smashed and turned into countless parts that splashed in all directions. The astral beast raised its wings, and the chunks of ice covering its wings were shattered one by one. A faint black mist surged on the body of the astral beast. Its shattered right eye and battered body were completely healed in an instant. Yang Feng frowned slightly. It has the ability to curse and has an almost undying recovery ability. What a troublesome existence. As soon as the astral beast recovered, its eyes flashed with an extremely fierce light. It opened its mouth and a black beam of light suddenly shot out from its mouth, sweeping towards the huge mechanical army. In the wake of the black beam of light, the battle robots were shattered and turned into countless parts scattered on the ground. A fan-shaped ravine extending for more than a dozen kilometers appeared again, and the 100,000 battle robots were completely destroyed by the astral beast's attack. After releasing such powerful and wide-ranging attacks in succession, a trace of exhaustion streaked past the astral beast's eyes. Starry Sky Rippers suddenly erupted with the terrifying speed of Mach 10, flying towards the astral beast from all directions. Among the Mechanical Legion, a captain robot flew out again, fired a positron beam, and slammed into the astral beast's head, blasting open a fist-sized bloody hole. The astral beast was instantly enraged by this provocation. Spatial light shone all over its body. In an instant, it traversed through space and appeared in front of the captain's mech. It opened its bloody mouth and bit down, crushing the captain's mech in one bite and swallowing it. A dense rain of gravity spheres blasted out in an instant and hit the astral beast. The astral beast's body sank again, and it fell to the ground. Almost at the same time, Yang Feng released the Arc Battlestar. The main cannon of the Arc interstellar battleship was fully charged. A bright light shone, and a terrifying beam of light containing destructive power descended from the sky. It was like a hammer of divine punishment descending on the human world, and it smashed into the body of the astral beast. Under the bombardment of the fearsome beam of light, the astral beast's upper body was blasted to pieces. After the beam of light destroyed the astral beast's upper body, it continued to blast open a 100-meter-tall, bottomless hole on the ground behind it. After the attack, the light from the main cannon of the Arc astral battleship dimmed, and it slowly began to charge. After the upper body of the astral beast was destroyed by the main cannon of the interstellar battleship, the remaining lower body continued to squirm, and the dense granulation tissue grew rapidly in a very strange manner. Countless Starry Sky Rippers suddenly flew out like a swarm of locusts and flew towards the remaining lower body of the astral beast in a flash. They frantically slashed at the lower body of the astral beast, chopping it into countless pieces. The engineering robots quickly flew forward, collected the remaining pieces of the astral beast's flesh, and put them into transparent crystal containers. The astral beast's remaining lower body was quickly shredded by the Starry Sky Rippers, revealing a fist-sized astral core. After the astral core was taken away by the engineering robots, the astral beast's remaining body suddenly lost its vitality and could no longer regenerate. Engineering robots quickly flew to the area to search, and finally found 2 more astral realm magic cores like that. After fiddling with the 3 astral beast cores for a while, Yang Feng willed and threw them into the magical mechanical cloak. At the same time, he also threw the astral beast's remains he collected into the magical mechanical cloak. When the 3 monster cores and the astral beast's remains entered the magical mechanical cloak, rays of light rushed out and shone on the 3 monster cores and the remains. Countless liquid metal nano-robots and other minerals were injected into the magical mechanical cloak. The 3 magic cores and the astral beast remains absorbed the superculture liquid containing countless liquid metal nano-robots, and strangely condensed into a heart that beat continuously. From that space, countless mechanical tentacles extended out like blood vessels and pierced into the heart, eroding and controlling the heart of the astral realm magical beast. The corners of Yangfeng's mouth rose into a smile. In this way, as long as I'm strong enough, I can transform into a Moonlight Warlock rank astral beast. The Moonlight Warlock rank astral beast was extremely powerful. Yang Feng used the Battlestar's primary artillery to seal the astral beast's spatial ability and movement ability, and then heavily injured it. Even among Moonlight Warlock rank extraordinary life forms, this astral beast was a first-class existence. If he could transform into this astral beast, Yang Feng's strength would be greatly enhanced. After killing the astral beast, no astral beast dared to block his way in the surroundings of the mountain range. The huge mechanical legion rose into the air and flew towards the other side of the mountain range. Somewhere in the forest of the continent, a demon commander rank expert radiated demonic light and brandished his claws wildly, turning into countless claw afterimages that cut off countless tree vines. The hundreds and thousands of giant trees and extraordinary plants had already surrounded the demon commander. Countless tendrils stabbed towards the demon commander. The demon commander rank powerhouse struggled to hold on. Suddenly, a dark gold vine ejected from the earth and pierced the demon commander rank powerhouse. The demon commander rank powerhouse issued a miserable scream, struggled a few times, and then was sucked dry and turned into a mummy. Somewhere in the mountain range of the continent, an astral beast more than 200 meters long, resembling a huge flying snake, with a pair of wings on its ribs, no eyes and sharp beast-like teeth, flew in the sky. Surrounding the astral beast were hundreds of dragons of various colors, who had returned to their original form. The dragons belched dragon breaths barreling towards the astral beast. The space around the astral beast distorted, and the dragon breaths were warped to the side. It flapped its wings, flew to in front of a 50-meter-long dragon, opened its ferocious maw at a frightening angle of 270 degrees, then snapped shut in an instant and swallowed the dragon, sputtering a copious amount of blood. Chapter 4:14. Seeing this scene, Delican, who had already transformed into a 3-headed golden dragon, felt a chill in his heart, and immediately turned into a golden ray of light and fled elsewhere. When the dragons saw Delican escape, they were all scared out of their wits and fled in all directions. The astral extraordinary life form that resembled a huge flying snake flashed continuously among the dragons like a ghost. After devouring 3 dragons, it flew back to the top of a mountain range with satisfaction, coiled around the top of the mountain range, and exuded rocks all over its body. As if petrified, its aura dissipated. This scene played out all over the continent. A day later, Yang Feng led the terrifying mechanical legion to crush all enemies. After killing 135 Great Warlock rank astral life forms and 30 Starry Sky Warlock rank astral life forms, destroying countless astral insects and astral extraordinary plants, he finally arrived at the spherical mountain range. The others are here as well? When Yang Feng arrived at the foot of the spherical mountain range, he frowned slightly. According to the reconnaissance aircraft, in addition to Yang Feng, there were 3 other groups of people who had also arrived at the foot of the mountain range. One of them was made up of 3 high elves, another was made up of 5 giants that were more than 100 meters tall, and the last was made up of Delican and the other dragon powerhouses. Of the 3 groups of people, everyone had injuries of various sizes. Delican originally had hundreds of dragon subordinates under his command, but now only 3 people followed him. Clearly, he had suffered heavy losses. The 3 groups of people were top Great Warlock rank experts. When Yang Feng's huge mechanical legion arrived, they were the first to discover it. Their countenances changed dramatically, and they stared at Yang Feng's mechanical legion, as if they were facing a great enemy. 3 Starry Sky Rippers suddenly flew to in front of the 3 groups of people, and spoke flatly in a synthesized mechanical voice. Everyone, please wait. This place has been reserved by my master. Please leave this place. After my master finishes what he wants to do, we can still be friends. Otherwise, we'll become mortal enemies. Who does your master think he is? A bunch of trash golems, go to hell. Delican's eyes flashed with a fierce glint, and he silently recited an incantation and pointed at the sky. In the sky, fiery clouds were rolling and rolling. Enormous amounts of fire elements were madly gathering in the sky, and a fiery cloud covering a radius of several miles suddenly appeared. In the next moment, fireballs capable of easily burning level 1 warlock rank extraordinary life forms to ashes descended from the sky and swept towards the huge mechanical legion as if the end of the world had arrived. A handsome young dragon clan powerhouse beside Delican sneered. He silently chanted an incantation and pointed with his finger. Violent hurricanes surged around his body, and then turned into terrifying gales that entered the rain of fireballs. The gales fanned the flames, making the fireballs even more violent. In the midst of the fearsome rain of fireballs, the battle robots activated their energy shields. When the fireballs blasted into the energy shields, they exploded, but they didn't harm the battle robots at all. Starry Sky Rippers suddenly erupted. With Mach 10 speed along with sonic booms, they appeared in front of the 3 Dragon Clan powerhouses in an instant and slashed down. Delican's face fell. A gold dragon tail suddenly extended from his back and blasted into the Starry Sky Rippers, destroying the 7 Starry Sky Rippers besieging him one by one. The other 2 Dragon Clan powerhouses didn't expect that the Starry Sky Rippers would emerge alive from the rain of fire. Their reaction was a beat too slow. They could only erupt with a powerful life force, and thick dragon scales with astonishing defensive power emerged on their bodies. Blood splashed. In an instant, the 2 Dragon Clan powerhouses were chopped into countless pieces by the Starry Sky Rippers, leaving only their heads behind. Shock was written on their heads, as if they couldn't believe that they would die here. When the 3 High Elves and the 5 burly giant powerhouses saw that the 2 Dragon Clan powerhouses were easily killed by Yongfeng's Starry Sky Rippers, their countenances changed dramatically. Delican's face fell and he shouted, "Everyone, let's join forces. Let's work together to destroy those mechanical puppets and kill their owners. Then we'll compete for the semi-plane seed based on our own abilities. Otherwise, we'll be killed one by the masters of these mechanical golems." Delican's body shook, and he turned into a 3-headed golden dragon. His 3 dragon heads fired numerous fire arrows, wind blades, and huge ice spikes barreling towards the Starry Sky Rippers. One after another, the magic shields of the Starry Sky Rippers were breached by the spells fired by the 3 dragon heads. They were either blasted apart, cut into pieces or frozen into ice cubes, and fell from the sky. At this moment, a captain robot flew out of the swarm and fired a positron beam that slammed into Delican's dragon body. A water tank-sized puncture wound was blasted open, and a large amount of blood gushed out of Delican's dragon body and scattered on the ground. The complexion of the bald giant leader of the 5 giants changed several times, and he shouted, "I am Giant Heart. Human warlock, if you agree to fight me one-on-one, then I'll give up the semi-plane seed. If you defeat me fair and square, then I'll give up on the semi-plane seed. Otherwise, we'll join the dragons and fight you. Then you can go to hell." Accompanied by a cold and cruel mechanical voice, a dense swarm of Starry Sky Rippers suddenly flew out of the mechanical legion and flew towards the 5-headed giants at a terrifying Mach 10 speed. A dense rain of railgun beams, positron beams, and other terrifying beams shot towards the 5 giants like raindrops. The complexion of Giant Heart changed dramatically, and he roared and unleashed the power of his domain. With him as the core, the power of the Earth domain erupted and enveloped an area 1,000 meters in radius. One after another, 100-meter-tall Earth giants emerged from Heart's Earth domain and rushed towards the Starry Sky Rippers. The other 4 giants also roared and urged their power to rush towards the battle robots. A male high elf asked the tall female high elf in the lead, "Lila, what should we do?" Lila's pretty face changed several times, and she pointed with a finger, and green light surged and formed a huge eyeball in midair. The eyeball looked into the distance and suddenly inhaled a breath of cold air. She saw a huge mechanical legion sweeping towards them like a sea. The terrifying mechanical torrent wasn't something that great warlock rank experts could resist. "Let's retreat." Lila made a prompt decision, and her figure blurred into motion and she retreated towards the foot of the mountain. The eyes of the other two high elves flickered with unwillingness, and they blurred into motion and retreated. A male high elf turned his eyes and silently recited an incantation, and his figure suddenly blurred. In the next moment he strangely became clear again. Suddenly, artillery troops and gunner troops rose into the air and fired wildly towards an area in the mountain range. Countless railgun beams and positron beams interweaved and bombarded the area. In that area, a male high elf appeared in a flash and shouted with a look of horror in his eyes, "Help!" Before the male high elf's words fell, he was shrouded by countless rays of light and blasted into pieces. Lila's eyes flashed with anger and she shouted, "We've already retreated, so why are you still killing our people? Do you want to become enemies with us high elves? Mountain climbers die." Starry Sky Rippers suddenly flew out from the rear, their engines roaring, and surrounded Lila and the male high elf. In addition to the Starry Sky Rippers, there were also countless battle robots flying over, their electronic eyes flashing with frightening red light. At the same time, the three-headed golden dragon Delican screamed in midair. Dozens of Starry Sky Rippers flew towards him in a flash and slashed frantically, chopping him into countless pieces that fell from the sky. 2 of the 5 giants were killed by the fearless Starry Sky Ripper, leaving only 3 giants hiding in the Earth domain, struggling to hold on. When Lila and the High Elf expert beside her saw this scene, they felt a chill in their hearts. The 3-headed golden dragon Delican was from the dragon race, one of the apex extraordinary life forms. Moreover, he was a 3-headed golden dragon with a quasi-Starry Sky Warlock rank cultivation base. Even many Starry Sky Warlocks might not be his match. Lila felt that her odds of winning against him were less than 10%. Seeing that such a terrifying expert was easily chopped into pieces by the Starry Sky Rippers, Lila and the other 2 high elves didn't dare to act rashly. "You win. Let us go." Heart roared, activating the domain of Earth to form numerous rock giants. The rock giants frantically attacked the Starry Sky Rippers and blasted them to pieces. The Starry Sky Rippers had a terrifying speed of Mach 10, but as soon as they entered the Earth domain, they felt as if they were carrying a mountain on their backs. Their speed plummeted to Mach 1, and then they were smashed to pieces by the rock giants. Any great Warlock rank expert that entered Heart's Earth domain would be bound by gravity. He could also draw the power of the Earth from the Earth domain, combining offense and defense into one, extremely tyrannical. By relying on the Earth domain, many Starry Sky Warlock rank experts may not be his opponent. Even so, the seemingly endless swarm of Starry Sky Rippers still made Heart fearful, and he admitted defeat and shouted loudly. Chapter 4:15. Go to the Netherworld and accompany your good brother. Blood-curdling voices came from the Starry Sky Rippers. 200,000 gunner troops and artillery troops equipped with flight devices rose into the air and formed a mechanical cloud in the sky. In the next moment, countless railgun and positron beams barreled towards the area where Heart and the other 2 giants were located like raindrops. Heart's expression changed drastically. He frantically urged his Titan's power, and within the Earth domain, 100-meter-tall rock giant suddenly appeared, forming a wall in front of him. Boom! 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 When the countless rays slammed into the rock giants collapsed and shattered, and the endless light instantly engulfed Heart and the other 2 giants. When the light disappeared, all that was left on the ground was a pile of broken flesh and all sorts of holes. Lila and the other 2 high elven powerhouses felt a chill in their hearts. Heart, who had comprehended the power of a domain, was definitely a genius powerhouse even among giants. Lila wasn't confident that she could defeat him. Under the bombardment of countless robots, such a powerhouse was instantly crushed, leaving Lila and the other 2 powerhouses not daring to make any unusual movements. Lila said respectfully to a Starry Sky Ripper, "Sir, can we leave now?" A bladed troop flew over from the rear with 2 vials of liquid metal nano-robot elixir in hand, handed them to the 2 high elves and said coldly, "It's too late. Inject these elixirs and you'll be able to live. Otherwise, you'll die here." The semi-plane seed was extremely important to Yang Feng's cultivation, and he couldn't afford to make any mistakes. Yang Feng didn't want to be killed by an arrow, While he was absorbing the semi-plane seed, Lila's complexion changed several times. She looked around and clearly sensed that the surrounding space was full of chaos. Even if she wanted to use spatial spells to escape, she couldn't do so. After hesitating for a while, Lila gritted her teeth, picked up the vial of liquid metal nano-robot elixir, injected it into her right arm, and injected it into her body. The complexion of the other high elf changed several times. Then he smiled bitterly, picked up the vial of liquid metal nano-robot elixir, injected it into his right arm, and injected it into his body. After sensing that the liquid metal nano-robot elixir had the two high elves under complete control, Yang Feng followed the huge mechanical legion silently to the top of the mountain range. When he arrived at the top of the hemispherical mountain range, Yang Feng saw a small sphere appear out of thin air in the center of a huge cave. Light brimming with the aura of life gushed out of the huge cave and entered the small sphere. Yang Feng looked at the small sphere with a scorching glint in his eyes. The small sphere was a semi-plane seed. Once the demi-plane seed matured, it would enter the astral boundary in accordance with the astral boundary's law. It would drift in the astral boundary while absorbing all kinds of matter, and finally transform into a demi-plane. The semi-plane would also drift in the astral boundary. If one was lucky, it would enter the astral boundary, and the astral plane. An astral boundary. If one was unlucky, the semi-plane would evolve into an abandoned and dead celestial body. Yang Feng first set up a magic array in the surroundings and covered it with intermediate magic crystals, then silently recited an incantation, conjured mage hand, grabbed the semi-plane seed, and pulled it from the cave to his side. Yang Feng pulled the semi-plane seed out of the cave, then silently recited an incantation and pointed at the semi-plane seed. Primal chaos magic light gushed out of Yang Feng's finger and entered the semi-plane seed. The semi-plane seed flew into the air and strangely entered Yang Feng's forehead. In Yang Feng's spirit sea, the semi-plane seed slowly fell into his spirit sea. Yang Feng operated a secret method recorded in the primal chaos imperishable body, and a soul seed flew out of the center of the spirit sea. The soul seed split into two halves. One half entered the semi-plane seed, while the other sunk into the spirit sea. The magic array beside Yang Feng lit up, and intermediate magic crystals released formidable life magic energy. Under the effect of the magic array, the life magic energy turned into white smoke that entered Yang Feng's eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. When the life magic energy entered Yang Feng's body, under the effect of the primal chaos imperishable body secret method, it turned into primal chaos force and poured into the semi-plane seed. The semi-plane seed, which had half of Yang Feng's soul fused with it, gushed with traces of the law of space, suddenly expanded, and evolved into a barren and dead space about 100 meters in size with only some rocks suspended in Yang Feng's sea of knowledge. With the help of the mysterious and unfathomable law of space and a trace of the world law, the space born from the semi-plane seed didn't burst Yang Feng's head. A copious amount of pure life magic energy was extracted from the magic array, entered Yang Feng's body, and turned into primal chaos force that poured into the semi-plane. Yang Feng's body seemed to transform into a bottomless black hole. When the life magic energy, which could have caused him to explode before, entered his body, it immediately disappeared and was converted into primal chaos energy that entered the semi-plane. As if it sensed something, the cave born from the semi-plane ejected golden energy into Yang Feng's body and poured into the semi-plane. Under the nourishment of the golden power, the demi-plane expanded inch by inch. At the same time, wisps of faint world power kept brewing within the demi-plane. At the foot of the mountain, the space suddenly rippled, and a 2-meter-tall devil with a pair of ghost horns on its head, a hideous face, and a strange rune engraved between its eyebrows, a pair of black wings on its back, and countless strange runes engraved on its body suddenly appeared out of thin air. When she saw the devil, Lila's pretty face changed, and she exclaimed, "Void Devil!" Void devils were a branch of devils. Void devils were proficient in spatial force from birth. Adult void devils were great warlock rank great devils, and there was no lack of starry sky warlock rank devil barons. Legend has it that void devils could move freely in the void, and many defensive spells and barriers could hardly stop them. Even many starry sky warlock rank experts, if they didn't learn targeted spells, would be silently killed by void devils. The void devil swept Lila and Lila with a glance, and then revealed a malevolent smile. Two great warlock rank high elves. Stay put. Otherwise, I don't mind tasting the brains of high elves. TSK TSK. As human warlocks spread to countless planes, experts of many planes began to use human warlock standards to measure them. Lila's pretty face changed slightly, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with fear, but her body moved involuntarily. She silently recited an incantation and took out a green high elven bow, and the aura of nature permeated her body and formed an arrow of nature. When the arrow of nature took shape, it turned into a stream of light and shot towards the void devil. The high elven Werther beside Lila involuntarily unleashed the arrow of the sun, and a resplendent ray of light shot towards the void devil. The face of the void devil suddenly changed dramatically. The mysterious and profound runes on its forehead flickered, and fearsome void force suddenly emerged. Its figure fluttered, and it entered a space. The arrow of nature and the arrow of sun pierced through space and shot towards the void devil. The arrow of nature and the arrow of sun were secret archery skills of high elves, and they possessed boundless might and the terrifying power to pierce through space. The face of the void devil changed dramatically. The mysterious runes all over its body flickered, and it frantically jumped through the 9 layers of space. When the arrow of sun reached the 6th layer of space, its power was exhausted, and it strangely disappeared from the 6th layer of space. When the arrow of nature reached the 8th layer of space, its power was exhausted, and it strangely disappeared. In the 9th layer of space, the void devil's figure blurred, and it smiled ferociously. Humph! Unfortunately, your limit is the 8th layer of space. If you want to hit me, you're still missing a layer of space. This time you're dead. The countenance of the two high elves Lisa and Werther changed dramatically, and their eyes shimmered with fear. The void devil was proficient in spatial force. Even their secret archery skills couldn't hit the void devil. They were practically helpless against it. At this moment, there were ripples and chaotic fluctuations in space. The face of the void devil fell, it trembled, and it was forced to fly out of the space. In the next moment, dozens of starry sky rippers pounced on the void devil. Blade rays flashed, and the void devil was cut into countless pieces in an instant. Only its head remained, which fell to the ground. Although the void devil was proficient in spatial force, but in terms of fleshly body, it was far inferior to the 3-headed gold dragon and the giant. The 3-headed gold dragon and the giant perished under the siege of the starry sky rippers, and the void devil was naturally no exception. When Lisa and Werther saw the void devil die just like that, there was a queer look in their eyes, and they looked at the starry sky rippers with apprehension. Chapter 4:16. Time passed and 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. During these 7 days, several groups of great warlock rank powerhouses from different planes were killed by the huge mechanical legion when they approached the mountain range. 7 days later, the semi-plane seed in Yangfeng's Sea of Knowledge expanded into a circular island with a diameter of 1,000 meters and a thickness of 100 meters. The golden light in the cave slowly disappeared and shrank back into the cave. Yangfeng slowly opened his eyes, and felt his body covered in a layer of black impurities and exuding a foul smell. When the semi-plane seed formed a miniature semi-plane in Yangfeng's Sea of Knowledge, the world force produced by the semi-plane cleansed Yangfeng's fleshly body, greatly strengthening it. At this time, his fleshly body was even stronger than that of starry sky warlock rank dragons, and it was full of vigorous life force and power. At this time, there were 3 mechanical baths with hot water and various precious elixirs placed beside him. Yangfeng smiled, then stepped into one of the mechanical baths, took a comfortable hot bath, and quietly felt the changes in the power inside him. Yangfeng felt the nearly endless power inside him, and the corners of his mouth rose into a smile. After integrating the semi-plane seed, my primal chaos imperishable body secret method can be considered to have crossed the threshold. It turns out that many of the previously incomprehensible things can only be displayed after integrating the semi-plane seed. The primal chaos imperishable body was an extraordinary secret method, created by the second Warlock dynasty's taboo lord in his later years. When Yang Feng's true body first cultivated this secret method, he was able to contend against some weak Starry Sky Warlock rank freaks in the Great Warlock realm. But it wasn't until he integrated the semi-plane seed that he truly cultivated the primal chaos imperishable body to the entry level. In the bath, Yang Feng pointed with a finger, and spatial aura diffused from him and formed a powerful spatial domain around him. The semi-plane seed extended into space inside Yang Feng's spirit sea, and became a real semi-plane. During this process, Yang Feng naturally comprehended the mysteries of the law of space, and formed a spatial domain. Looking at the distorted space in the spatial domain, Yang Feng showed a satisfied smile. After taking a bath, Yang Feng descended from the mountain and arrived at the foot of the mountain, in front of the two high elves Lila and Werther. After Lila saw Yang Feng, surprise flashed past her beautiful eyes, and she revealed a look of understanding, a human warlock. Among the 36 primary material planes, only the Zhongji Plane's 6th Warlock dynasty's Golem Lord has used mechanical golems. None of the other 36 prime material planes had developed in the direction of mechanical civilization. The Feisua plane was a plane ruled by gods, the plane of dragons was a plane ruled by dragons, and the other 36 primary material planes also had formidable existences comparable to gods and demons who ruled over everything. There was no soil for a mechanical civilization to survive. The essence of a mechanical civilization was to allow the weak to rely on the power of machines to display heaven-defying combat power. An ordinary person who wasn't even a knight could possibly destroy a moonlight warlock by pressing the launch button of a nuclear warhead. Once such a dangerous civilization showed any signs of development, it would be destroyed by the powerful existences comparable to gods and demons who ruled over everything in the 36 primary material planes. Yang Feng walked up to Lila and looked at her carefully. His eyes revealed a look of satisfaction, and he said with a faint smile, "Not bad, elves are really beautiful. I am Yang Feng. From today on you are my maid. As for him, he is my guard." Although Lila wasn't as devastatingly beautiful as the great elven monarch Azramia, but she was still a first-rate elven beauty. Among humans, she was a one-in-a-million beauty. She was already qualified to act as Yang Feng's maid. Lila was both ashamed and angry, yet her cherry lips involuntarily said respectfully, "Yes, master." Werther wanted to step forward and say something, but he couldn't control his body, and could only glare at Yang Feng. Yang Feng turned his head to look at the sky and revealed a smile. "Since my goal has been achieved, it's time to go back." Time elapsed and several months passed in the blink of an eye. The demonic fighting sect's astral gate shone brightly, and Yang Feng walked out of the astral gate with Lila and Werther. The three of them had just walked out of the astral gate, when tremendous spatial force descended from the sky, enveloped the three of them, and teleported them away in an instant. With a flash of light, Yang Feng's group of three appeared in the astral palace. The person sitting next to the counter of the astral palace was Zhang Lei. When he saw Yang Feng and his party, Zhang Lei showed a smile and greeted them. "Senior disciple brother Yang, you're back. Who are these two?" Yang Feng replied with a smile, "They are my servants in the astral boundary." The two high elves Lila and Werther had wooden expressions on their faces. Zhang Lei's gaze swept Lila, and his eyes flashed with envy, saying, "Senior disciple brother Yang, you're really lucky to be able to capture two high elves as servants in the astral boundary." Lila was a daughter of nature among high elves. Although she couldn't compare to a peerless beauty like Azramia, but she was still a first-rate super beauty, with an extraordinary temperament and an exotic charm. In the demonic fighting sect, there were only 20+ beauties more beautiful and more outstanding than her. Yang Feng responded with a smile, "I was just lucky." Zhang Lei hesitated for a moment before saying, "Senior disciple brother Yang, I have to remind you that these other races can only act in your residence. They can't walk around the demonic fighting sect at will." The demonic fighting sect's experts who went to the astral boundary would often bring back some strange life forms. They would even go to other planes from the astral boundary to capture all kinds of intelligent life forms as pets. Many of those things were dangerous, so they couldn't walk around the demonic fighting sect at will. The two high elves Lila and Werther caught by Yang Feng might be beautiful female spies sent by high elves, so they couldn't walk around the demonic fighting sect at will. However, if they stayed in Yang Feng's residence or laboratory, there wouldn't be any problems. Yang Feng responded with a faint smile. I understand. Zhang Lei said with a smile, Senior disciple Brother Yang, the Great Sect competition is around the corner. I'm looking forward to your performance in the Great Sect competition. Each of them could fight 5 or even 10 starry sky warlocks of the same rank outside of the 10 great sects. Yang Feng said full of confidence, Disciple won't let you down, teacher. Huang Yihe took a deep look at Yang Feng and revealed a faint smile, saying, Then I'm looking forward to your performance. If you do well, I'll give you a pleasant surprise. After chatting for a while, Huang Yihe had Yang Feng withdraw. Chapter 417. 7 days later, the Fighting Demonic Sect's internal great competition officially began. In front of the Fighting Demonic Sect's grand arena, there was a dais. On the dais sat ordinary elders, as well as some true disciples who haven't promoted to the Moonlight Warlock rank. At the top of the dais sat the chairpersons of the Fighting Demonic Sect's major branches. Each of them was a Moonlight Warlock, and some were even Glorious Dawn Warlock rank powerhouses. As one of the Great Cloud Dynasty's 10 great sects, the Fighting Demonic Sect had countless secret methods. According to the cultivation of different secret methods, different branches were formed. There was the Elixir Peak that specialized in the cultivation of pharmacy, the Alchemy Peak that specialized in the cultivation of alchemy, and so on. The Great Sect Great Competition of Outer Sect Disciples was the day when the chairpersons of the major branches came to select Inner Sect disciples. The peak lords of the major branches would choose the outer sect disciples that they liked and then send out invitations to those outer sect disciples to join their branches. Sitting on a dais, Yang Feng swaggered down from the dais, overlooking the grand arena below. On the dais, everyone was a Starry Sky Warlock rank powerhouse or above. He was the only great warlock, which was very eye-catching. Not far from Yang Feng there were 3 people sitting. One of them was a young man with long blood-colored hair and an unruly glint in his eyes. The other was a beautiful young woman with a sexy and voluptuous figure and waist-length pitch-black hair dressed in a snow-white warlock robe. The other was a young man with an ordinary figure and appearance, but his eyes were bright and spirited, looking like they could suck in people's souls. The space around the 3 young men and women was very spacious. The powerful life force they exuded was different from that of others, second only to the chairpersons of the major branches. Yang Feng's gaze was attracted by the 3 young men and women, and he took a deep look at them. Wang Zhilan sitting next to Yang Feng said softly, Senior disciple Brother Yang, the 3 of them are Zhang Hanshan, a personal disciple of Great Elder Yu Wuxian, Zhuo Yifan, a personal disciple of Great Elder Helian Nu, and Zhou Feng, a personal disciple of Great Elder Eugene Gang. Wang Zhilan was a Starry Sky Warlock with superior level, 6 soul aptitude. In addition to being a disciple in name of Huang Yihe, she was also a true disciple of the Fighting Demonic Sect. Yang Feng's eyes suddenly revealed a look of understanding. Huang Yihe and the other 3 great elders are 4 bright world warlock rank powerhouses of the Battle Demon Sect. Even the sect master is only a Glorious Dawn warlock rank powerhouse. The status of the direct disciples of the 4 great supreme elders was naturally much higher than that of ordinary true disciples. Similarly, the direct disciples of the 4 grand elders were all geniuses among geniuses. Wang Zhilan was a genius with a superior 6th rank soul aptitude. In many sects, she was a once-in-a-century genius. However, he was only one of Huang Yihe's disciples in name. The strictness with which the 4 grand elders accepted disciples could be imagined. After glancing at the 3 young men and women, Yang Feng's gaze fell on the grand arena. At this time, the grand arena had been divided into dozens of arenas. Nearly tens of thousands of Battle Demon Sect in-name disciples gathered around the grand arena. The atmosphere was solemn. How come he's sitting there? Among the tens of thousands of disciples in name of the Fighting Demonic Sect, a pretty and lovely girl with bright eyes and white teeth looked at Yang Feng sitting on the dais, widened her eyes and exclaimed, A tall and slender woman with outstanding looks frowned slightly and said in a low voice, "Sister Jingman, the ones sitting there are all the direct disciples of the sect, or the 4 great supreme elders' personal disciples. You're being too disrespectful. We are just ordinary disciples in name. A casual word from those true disciples can make it difficult for us to move an inch in the sect." The shock in Xu Jingman's eyes faded a little. Recalling the scene from a few years ago, she whispered, "By the way, senior disciple Sister Yurong, are the personal disciples of the 4 great elders sitting there?" Jiang Yurong's beautiful eyes flashed with envy, and she uttered, "That's right, the personal disciples of the 4 great elders are sitting there. That person is Yang Feng, who just became a personal disciple of great elder Huang Yihe not long ago. I heard that he ventured into the Feisua Plain as a level 2 warlock and killed a demigod rank expert, which is how he obtained this qualification." Xu Jingman's beautiful eyes flashed with a peculiar glint, and she whispered, "He actually did it." Jiang Yurong's beautiful eyes flashed with envy, and she said with a light smile, "Junior disciple Sister Jingman, your soul aptitude is outstanding. As long as you practice hard, there's hope for you to become a personal disciple of the 4 great elders in the future." With an inferior level 7 soul aptitude, Xu Jingman was regarded as an outstanding genius in the Battle Demon sect where geniuses were as common as clouds. In just a few years she had already cultivated to the level 3 warlock realm. This cultivation speed was already extremely heaven-defying. It should be known that in the Tyrannid subcontinent, many warlocks were trapped in the level 1 warlock realm all their lives, unable to break through until they died of old age. Xu Jingman said with a smile, "Big sister, you're also very amazing. You're ready to break through and promote to a great warlock." Jiang Yurong showed a bitter smile. "A great warlock? I've practiced cultivation for more than 100 years before I touched the threshold of a great warlock. Even if I advance to a great warlock, there's no hope for me to promote to a starry sky warlock in the future." In the Tyrannid subcontinent, to advance to a great warlock after more than 100 years, one would definitely be regarded as a genius among geniuses. However, the Battle Demon sect was different. There were countless secret methods, knowledge and resources in the Battle Demon sect. In such an environment, it was extremely difficult for someone to advance to a great warlock after more than 100 years to advance to a starry sky warlock. Xu Jingman could only remain silent, and her gaze fell on Yang Feng on the dais. Personal disciple. He actually became a personal disciple of the great elder Huang Yihe. Among the tens of thousands of disciples in name, He Feng also stared at Yang Feng's figure on the dais, his eyes full of envy, jealousy, and unwillingness. He Feng was originally regarded as a genius in his family, but after entering the Battle Demon sect, he realized that his talent in the Battle Demon sect was just above average. In the Battle Demon sect, geniuses were as common as clouds. Every step up required a lot of effort. Seeing Yang Feng soar in a single bound and become a personal disciple of one of the Battle Demon sect's 4 great elders, He Feng was naturally filled with jealousy. In addition to Xu Jingman and He Feng, the gazes of the tens of thousands of disciples in name often focused on Yang Feng, full of envy and jealousy. Ignoring the gazes of the disciples in name, Yang Feng quietly watched the competition between the tens of thousands of disciples in name. Although the disciples in name did their best, but in the eyes of Yang Feng, who had seen countless spectacles, the spells of the disciples in name weren't worth mentioning. A few days later, the competition between the disciples in name was completed. The top 10 disciples in name were promoted to outer sect disciples, and then the competition between the outer sect disciples began. The Battle Demon sect's outer sect disciples were basically all great warlock rank experts, and the fights between them were much more exciting than the fights between disciples in name. A few days later, the competition between the Battle Demon sect's outer sect disciples ended, and the top 10 outer sect disciples were directly promoted to inner sect disciples. The main force of the Battle Demon sect's inner sect disciples were great warlocks and starry sky warlocks, while the pinnacle powerhouses among the inner sect disciples were all starry sky warlock rank powerhouses. The fights between them were brilliant and varied, and various secret methods emerged one after another. Yang Feng looked down at the great arena. His eyes flashed with curiosity, and he whispered, "That guy seems to be very strong." In the grand arena there stood 2 people. One was a handsome young man dressed in a cyan warlock robe. The other was a man with short black hair, dressed in black, and eyes flashing with an untamed and overbearing glint. At a glance he looked like he was shrouded in darkness. Wang Zhilan said with a sweet smile, "That's the Dark Demon Peak's eldest disciple brother Zhong Sunan. He's the strongest in this great competition. Reportedly, he has comprehended and condensed a darkness domain. Furthermore, his cultivation base has reached the intermediate Starry Sky Warlock rank." Yang Feng stroked his chin and said with a faint smile, "He comprehended a darkness domain? Not bad, right?" Wang Zhilan took a deep look at Yang Feng, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with a peculiar glint. To be able to comprehend a domain no matter where one was, one would be regarded as a genius. After all, even in the Battle Demon sect, some Moonlight Warlock rank powerhouses had yet to comprehend a domain. Yang Feng's lack of fear towards Zhong Sunan made Wang Zhilan a bit more curious about his strength. In the Grand Colosseum, the young man dressed in a green warlock robe cast the Battle Demon secret method, and a set of golden armor enveloped him. As if a golden god of war, he exuded frightening fluctuations of power. The fluctuations of power of the golden battle demon formed by the green-robed warlock were more than 10 times stronger than the golden battle demon formed by Wu Ziming. Clearly, he was a top expert among the inner sect disciples. Zhong Sunan's gaze was cold, and he exuded a dark aura, and a darkness domain that seemed capable of devouring all light suddenly enveloped the green-robed warlock with him as the center. In a flash, the frightening darkness domain engulfed the green-robed warlock, emitting advanced Starry Sky Warlock rank fluctuations of power. After a dozen breaths of time, the green-robed warlock was spat out from the darkness domain. Riddled with scars, he passed out. The eyes of the elder presiding over the competition flashed with surprise, and he announced, "Zhong Sunan wins." Zhong Sunan's eyes shimmered with an unruly glint. He took a deep look at Yang Feng sitting on the dais, showed a sneer, and turned to leave the great arena. Chapter 418. The competition for the inner sect disciples continued. Zhong Sunan crushed all his opponents without any mishaps, and became the #1 inner sect disciple without a doubt. After Elder Lu Yang announced that Zhong Sunan was the #1 inner sect disciple, he said, "Zhong Sunan, as the #1 inner sect disciple, you have the right to challenge personal disciples of the 4 great elders as well as any true disciple here." In the grand arena, everyone's eyes were focused on Zhong Sunan. The gazes of the weakest true disciples on the dais fell on Zhong Sunan, and their eyes shimmered with a faint glint of fear. Zhong Sunan, who comprehended the darkness domain and possessed an intermediate Starry Sky Warlock rank cultivation base, was comparable to a pinnacle Starry Sky Warlock rank expert in terms of strength. Among the true disciples, his strength was in the lower middle position. He was much stronger than some true disciples of the fighting demonic sect. If a true disciple was defeated by Zhong Sunan on the spot, they would lose their true disciple status and become inner sect disciples again. Zhong Sunan showed an unruly smile and said loudly, "I want to challenge Great Elder Huang's personal disciple Yang Feng. Senior disciple brother Yang Feng, please enlighten me." He wants to challenge Yang Feng. Sure enough, Zhong Sunan wants to challenge Yang Feng. Doesn't Yang Feng only have great warlock rank strength? He even dares to represent Great Elder Huang's personal disciple in the great competition. Isn't he making a fool of himself? To be able to slay a demigod rank freak on the Feisua plane, Yang Feng must have some skill. But Zhong Sunan is an expert who comprehended the darkness domain, and a Starry Sky Warlock rank expert to boot. He has no chance of winning. Whispers rose in the crowd, and gazes filled with pity focused on Yang Feng. If it was a challenge from an expert of the same realm, the fighting demonic sect's disciples would have some expectations of Yang Feng. After all, Yang Feng once defeated the genius Wu Ziming. But Zhong Sunan was not only a Starry Sky Warlock rank expert, but also a Starry Sky Warlock rank expert who comprehended the darkness domain. Even many true disciples of the fighting demonic sect might not be his match. Faced with such an enemy, no one was optimistic about Yang Feng. Since junior martial brother Zhongxuan has said so, as your senior martial brother, let me give you some pointers. Acting like a senior disciple brother, Yang Feng got up and walked to the center of the grand arena step by step on the void, facing Zhongxuan. Anger flashed in Zhongxunan's eyes. He sneered and said, "Fine. Supreme Elder Huang's direct disciple must be very powerful. Let me have a taste of your ability, senior brother." Elder Lu Yang said lightly, "Let the duel begin. Senior disciple brother Yang Feng, please enlighten me." Zhongxunan's figure fluttered, and he strangely disappeared from where he stood and appeared behind Yang Feng. With a cold smile on his face, he chopped at Yang Feng's neck with a knife hand. Yang Feng acted as if he didn't hear it and didn't react, letting the knife hand chop his neck. He was defeated just like that? How disappointing. The gap between a great warlock and a starry sky warlock is really huge. A look of disappointment flashed in the eyes of the surrounding battle demon sect disciples. They all believed that Yang Feng wasn't Zhongxunan's opponent, but Yang Feng was defeated so quickly that they were very disappointed. Zhang Hanshan propped up her pretty face with a lily-white hand and looked askance at the grand arena below. An enigmatic glint flashed in her beautiful eyes, and she revealed a smile. Interesting. It seems that this personal disciple of Great Elder Huang isn't an ordinary great warlock. Yang Feng, on the other hand, didn't even sway. He quietly stood in place as if nothing had happened. He was sent flying. Senior disciple brother Zhongxunan was actually sent flying. Great warlock, he's just a great warlock. How could he surpass senior disciple brother Zhongxunan in terms of strength? Senior disciple brother Zhongxunan's physique is one of the best among inner sect disciples. And with the support of the battle demon secret method, he's the #1 inner sect disciple. Yang Feng, he's just a great warlock. How could he defeat senior disciple brother Zhongxunan in terms of strength? Everyone in the great arena went into an uproar when they saw this scene. Everyone's eyes flashed with incredulity. Zhongxunan was recognized as the #1 inner sect disciple. He was extremely strong, and the battle demon secret method was a first-rate secret method to increase the strength of the fleshly body. With the support of the black battle demon, Zhongxunan's strength even surpassed that of a starry sky warlock rank dragon. For such a terrifying existence to be sent flying by a blow from the great warlock rank Yang Feng was simply heaven-defying. Zhang Hanshan's beautiful eyes flashed with a peculiar glint, and she said with some curiosity, "Amazing. Really amazing. Junior disciple brother Yang Feng is really outstanding. It's far beyond my expectations. What secret method did he cultivate?" For the first time, Zhuo Yifan's eyes revealed a trace of graveness, and he said solemnly, "Amazing. His fleshly body is very strong." Zhou Feng also nodded slightly. After Zhongxunan spat out a mouthful of blood, he retreated briskly. After retreating 100 meters, he stopped and looked up at Yang Feng with a dignified look in his eyes. Zhongxunan's eyes flickered with a peculiar glint. His eyes burned with a fierce fighting spirit, and he enunciated each syllable. "Senior disciple brother Yang Feng, I was originally very dissatisfied that you could become a personal disciple of Great Elder Huang. However, it now seems that I was wrong. You do have the qualifications to become a personal disciple of Great Elder Huang. At the very least, when I was a great warlock, I didn't have a fleshly body as powerful as yours. Next, in order to express my respect for you, I will use all my strength to defeat you." Yang Feng said with a faint smile, "Bring it on. I'd like to experience the power of the darkness domain." Zhongxunan smiled slightly and silently recited an incantation. With him as the core, endless darkness turned into a darkness that seemed capable of devouring all light and swept towards Yang Feng. In the blink of an eye, Yang Feng was engulfed by the endless darkness. Once Yang Feng was engulfed by the darkness domain, he felt as if he was in a silent, non-existent darkness. He couldn't see, hear, smell, and his spirit couldn't leave his body. Apart from himself, he couldn't feel anything. Yang Feng silently recited an incantation. A night vision spell enveloped his eyes, and he looked around. However, the night vision spell didn't have any effect. What entered his eyes was still endless darkness. Only a domain can contend against a domain. or an absolute power that far surpasses a domain. This saying is really true. Yang Feng smiled faintly. Fearsome spatial fluctuations diffused from him, and a spatial domain spread in all directions with him as the core. The forces of the spatial domain and the darkness domain intertwined, annihilated, and neutralized each other in this area. Within the scope of Yang Feng's spatial domain, the space became chaotic and distorted. An arrow of darkness shot out from the endless darkness, entered the space, and strangely passed through the layers of distorted space before shooting at Yang Feng's feet, causing the ground to shake slightly. Chapter 419. In the Grand Arena, two domains appeared. One domain was full of distorted space, and the other domain was full of endless darkness. The two domains intertwined, entangled, annihilated each other, and cancelled each other out. Spatial domain. Yang Feng, he actually comprehended a domain force, and the most difficult spatial domain at that. This is the spatial domain, one of the most difficult domains to comprehend. To be able to comprehend it, that's amazing. Amazing, as expected of a personal disciple of great elder Huang De. When everyone around the Grand Arena saw this scene, their eyes flashed with astonishment. On the dais, the various factions' peak lords also raised their eyebrows, and many of them revealed looks of regret. Yang Feng was now a personal disciple of Huang Iha. Otherwise, they would have desperately fought over Yang Feng and taken him into their faction to enhance their strength. Zhang Hanshan looked at Yang Feng's figure in the Grand Arena with a complicated look in her beautiful eyes, and she sighed faintly, full of envy. A powerful fleshly body and spatial domain. This junior disciple brother Yang is a little freak second, only to junior disciple sister Shi. Both brother and sister are freaks. Zhui Yifan suddenly asked, "Junior disciple sister Shi, are you about to advance to a moonlight warlock?" Zhou Feng's gaze fell on Zhang Hanshan. There was a complicated glint in Zhang Hanshan's beautiful eyes, and she said unhurriedly, "That's right. Before long, the Battle Demonic sect will be able to hold a moonlight ceremony to celebrate the addition of another moonlight warlock in the sect." Zhui Yifan and Zhou Feng fell silent, and their eyes shimmered with unwillingness. They silently looked at Yang Feng with a myriad of thoughts running through their minds. Wang Zhilan stared at the spatial domain in the Grand Arena with a complicated look in her eyes. Spatial domain. Amazing. In the Grand Arena, the spatial domain and the darkness domain intertwined, and a steady stream of life force was extracted from Yang Feng's body. If it wasn't for the semi-plane in his sea of knowledge continuously supplying him with life force, he would have been unable to maintain the spatial domain. Zhong Sunan clearly didn't have such powerful life force as Yang Feng. The darkness domain suddenly shrank and entered his body. Zhong Sunan flapped the pair of dark wings behind him, and black light flickered. In an instant, thousands of shadow clones appeared in the Grand Arena. Acting almost identically, the thousands of shadow clones silently recited an incantation and pointed at Yang Feng. Along with flickers of dark magic power, thousands of shadow clones intertwined and formed black ropes that shot towards Yang Feng like vipers. When the black ropes formed from interweaving dark magic power flew into the spatial domain around Yang Feng, they shuttled back and forth in the endless space, unable to touch Yang Feng. As if he didn't see the black ropes, Yang Feng silently recited an incantation and swiped his forehead with his hand, and primal chaos breath filled his forehead and formed a primal chaos eye. The primal chaos eye turned and locked onto Zhong Sunan's true body. Yang Feng unleashed the secret method primal chaos finger recorded in the primal chaos imperishable body, and pointed at Zhong Sunan from afar, and primal chaos aura containing a trace of world force instantly flew out and slammed into Zhong Sunan. The Starry Sky Warlock rank life force field protecting Zhong Sunan in midair was easily penetrated, and the black battle demon armor cracked. He screamed and fell to the ground, spewed a large mouthful of blood, and said, face pale and trembling, "I lost." There was a moment of silence in the Grand Arena, and everyone's eyes flickered with incredulity. Elder Liu Yang's eyes flickered with astonishment, and he paused for a moment before announcing, "Yang Feng won. He won." Yang Feng actually defeated senior disciple brother Zhong Sunan. He's just a great warlock. How could he defeat the Starry Sky Warlock rank senior disciple brother Zhong Sunan? Senior disciple brother Zhong Sunan isn't a rogue cultivator without any inheritance. How could he lose? How is this possible? The entire Grand Arena boiled up. The Battle Demon sect disciples gathered in the Grand Arena couldn't believe their eyes. Unable to accept the result, they discussed animatedly. Zhong Sunan has been in the Fighting Demon sect for more than 100 years. In these 100 years, he crushed all the geniuses of the same generation with absolute strength, and finally crushed countless inner sect disciples in this year's competition with an absolute advantage, becoming the well-deserved number one among the inner sect disciples. If Yang Feng had defeated Zhong Sunan in the Starry Sky Warlock realm, then the demonic fighting sect's disciples could still accept it. But now Yang Feng was just a great warlock, yet he easily defeated Zhong Sunan. This performance was simply heaven-defying. Under the shocked gazes, Yang Feng trod on air, returned to his seat as one of the 4 personal disciples and sat down. This time the demonic fighting sect's disciples no longer looked at Yang Feng with disdain and provocation. As a great warlock, Yang Feng became a personal disciple of Huang Yihe, and received a lot of criticism in the demonic fighting sect. After all, there were many extremely talented and hardworking geniuses in the demonic fighting sect. They had to climb up step by step from disciple in name to outer sect disciple, inner sect disciple and true disciple. Only then could they be accepted as a personal disciple by the 4 great elders. Now that Yang Feng defeated Zhong Sunan with absolute strength in the great warlock realm, no one dared to question his qualifications as a personal disciple of the great elders. With a bitter expression on his face, Zhong Sunan walked down from the grand arena. Clearly, his defeat at Yang Feng's hands was a big blow to him. If he had been defeated by a Starry Sky Warlock, he would have been a little disappointed at most. But to be defeated by a great warlock, it was a huge blow to his pride. The 2nd and 3rd ranked inner sect disciples also issued a challenge to Zhuo Yifan and Zhou Feng. As a result, the 2nd and 3rd ranked inner sect disciples were easily defeated by Zhuo Yifan and Zhou Feng. After the duels, the great sect competition officially came to an end. The demonic fighting sect's disciples surrounding the grand arena slowly dispersed. Junior disciple brother Yang Feng, please wait. Yang Feng was just about to return to his dwelling to prepare for the next step, when Zhang Hanshan's charming and pleasant voice came from behind. Zhang Hanshan said with a sweet smile, "Junior disciple brother Yang Feng, I am Zhang Hanshan, a disciple of great elder Yu Wuxian." This is Zhuo Yifan, a disciple of great elder He Liannu. This is Zhou Feng, a disciple of great elder Yu Jingang. Let's go to the Jade Immortal Abode and have a small gathering. How about it? Yang Feng's footsteps paused slightly. He hesitated for a moment, and his gaze swept past Wang Zhilan beside him. Zhang Hanshan's gaze swept past Wang Zhilan, and she said with a smile, "Of course, if junior disciple sister Wang wants to come with us, you're welcome." Yang Feng replied with a smile, "All right." Zhang Hanshan, Zhuo Yifan, and Zhou Feng were personal disciples of the other 3 great elders. They were elite geniuses of the demonic fighting sect. If they didn't die, they would have a great chance of promoting to Moonlight Warlocks in the future, and even have a trace of advancing to Glorious Dawn Warlocks. Since they were willing to make friends, Yang Feng naturally couldn't refuse their good intentions. The Jade Immortal Abode was located in the demonic fighting sect. It was a restaurant controlled by the Celestial Food Peak. The warlocks of the Celestial Food Peak were gourmets. They specialized in cooking all kinds of extraordinary life forms and extraordinary plants, displaying their deliciousness and power, so that the diners could enjoy the delicacies and strengthen their strength. The Celestial Food Peak was weak, and their peak seat only had a pinnacle Starry Sky Warlock rank cultivation base. However, they had many industries in the demonic fighting sect. At the same time, they were sheltered by the sect's bigwigs, which was why they didn't disappear. The Jade Immortal Abode was the top restaurant controlled by the Celestial Food Peak. On the 9th floor of the Jade Immortal Abode, on a table there were dragon livers and phoenix marrow as well as rare and exotic fruits. Every dish was incomparably precious. If a level 1 warlock were to casually take a bite, Their physical constitution would be greatly strengthened and their spirit force would also skyrocket. Yang Feng's group of 5 sat around the table. At the banquet, the 5 people exchanged cups of wine and chatted happily. Both sides wanted to make friends, and so the relationship between them quickly became close. After 3 rounds of wine, Zhang Hanshan drained a cup of spirit wine, blushed, and said with a charming smile, "In 3 years, the Time Sky City Competition Assembly will be held. At that time, we should join hands to seize the key of time and strive to enter the Time Sky City together." Yang Feng asked curiously, "Time Sky City Competition Assembly, what is that?" The Time Sky City is the residence of the first Warlock Emperor Time Lord. It is one of the most precious legacies he left for us human warlocks on the Zhangji Plain. Every 100 years it will appear in the world once. Only human warlocks with a key of time and cultivation base below the Starry Sky Warlock rank can enter the Time Sky City. In the Time Sky City there are countless treasures collected by the Time Lord. At the same time, there is a Time Sky Pillar, which records the Warlock Emperor rank time text created by the Time Lord. Previous Warlock Emperors have gone to the Time Sky City when they were young and comprehended the time text recorded on the Time Sky Pillar. Every time before the Time Sky City appears, a secret realm will appear in the holy capital Time City. In that secret realm a key of time will appear. The Time Sky City Competition Assembly is a grand event where countless human warlocks of the Zhangji Plain compete for the 108 keys of time. At that time, even the experts from the 3 great dynasties of the Western world, the Brest Dynasty, the Bajor Dynasty, and the Cater Dynasty will come here to fight for the 108 keys of time, Wang Zhilan explained. Chapter 420. The Zhangji Plain's primary world is divided into the Eastern world and the Western world. In the Eastern world, the Great Cloud Dynasty has the support of the 10 great sects, the 8 great families and countless large and small sections. The Western world was divided into the Brest Dynasty, the Bajor Dynasty, and the Cater Dynasty. The 8th Warlock Dynasty's Dawn Lord was a peerless expert born in the Western world, and his might was unparalleled. He unified all human warlock forces in the Zhangji Plain's origin world. Even though the Eastern world's human warlocks don't have a favorable impression of the Dawn Lord, but they have to admit that the Dawn Lord is one of the strongest human warlocks in the history of the Zhangji Plain, second only to the 7 warlock emperors. After the collapse of the Dawn Dynasty, the Eastern world and the Western world immediately split. After experiencing countless chaos and wars, the Eastern world finally formed the Great Cloud Dynasty through constant compromises and negotiations. As for the Western world, it was divided into 3 great dynasties. Each of the Western world's 3 dynasties is far weaker than the Great Cloud Dynasty, but when the 3 dynasties join forces, they can suppress the Great Cloud Dynasty. After all, back then, the King of Dawn was born in the Western world. While he was suppressing the world, he also treated the Western world well, allowing the Western world to develop tremendously during his 10,000 years of existence. The warlock geniuses of the Brest Dynasty, the Bajor Dynasty, and the Cater Dynasty will gather in the Holy City of Time, which means that the warlock geniuses of the entire Zhangji Plain will gather there to compete for the 108 keys of time. Yang Feng asked curiously, "Isn't the Time Lord from our Eastern world? Why can the people of the Western world enter the Time Sky City that he left behind?" Zhang Hanshan smiled sweetly and said, "Although the Lord of Time is from our Eastern world, he is still a member of our Eastern world. However, it wasn't just the people from our Eastern world who followed him to fight against the ancient gods. Of the 36 Holy Spirit warlocks and 108 warlock monarchs who followed the Time Lord, 1/3 came from the Western world. One of the Time King's 4 queens was from the Western world. Furthermore, a close female friend from the Western world died in order to save the Lord of Time, who had yet to rise to prominence. Naturally, he would not favor one over the other." Zhui Yifan snorted in dissatisfaction. This also gave the King of Dawn a chance to rise. If the King of Dawn hadn't comprehended the heavenly pillar of time back then, he would have been nothing more than a minor character. Yang Feng's thoughts stirred, and he revealed a smile. "I wonder if warp gates can be opened in the great secret realm. If we can open a warp gate, the scene will be very beautiful. The huge mechanical legion could even slay Moonlight Warlock rank astral beasts. If Yang Feng could open a warp gate in the Great Secret Realm, then he would be able to get all the keys of time in the Great Secret Realm by himself. Everyone chatted for a while longer before the host and the guest had enjoyed themselves and left. After the Fighting Demonic Sect's great competition, Yang Feng's name spread throughout the Fighting Demonic Sect, and all disciples knew of his prestige. Yang Feng casually took a mission in the Demonic Fighting Sect and left the sect. On the Feisua Plain, the desolate island's Black Dragon Country, in an underground room, dazzling light shone, and a person walked out of the warp gate. It was Yang Feng. Yang Feng glanced to the side and saw his clone wrapped in a red cocoon. His eyes closed, desperately resisting the erosion of the divinity of massacre, while comprehending the mysteries of the law of massacre. Although Yang Feng's clone killed the 3 clerics who claimed to be subordinates of the King of Dawn in one fell swoop with the help of the divinity of massacre, but he was still eroded by the divinity of massacre. Before he fully comprehended the domain of massacre, he couldn't move freely. Otherwise, he would become a fierce beast that only knew how to kill. Yang Feng walked out of the secret chamber and stepped into the royal palace of the Black Dragon Country. "Greetings, Your Majesty." Along the way, when the Dragonborn experts with Black Dragon bloodline saw Yang Feng, they knelt on the ground and greeted him respectfully. Yang Feng came to the Black Dragon Hall and sat down on the seats that were originally reserved for the 6 dragon gods of the Black Dragon Country. Bell tolls rang in the Beniege city. Not long after, the Black Dragon Palace's interior was filled with people. Yang Feng glanced at the demigod Black Dragon standing on his right and asked indifferently, "Oben, how is the training of the Navy going?" Oben took a deep look at Yang Feng and said respectfully, "Your Majesty, the Navy is ready and waiting for your orders." The desolate archipelago was composed of numerous huge islands in the sea. The Black Dragon Country had a strong navy to begin with. It was just that it didn't have a legend rank warship. Yang Feng said indifferently, "Good. Pass down my order. Immediately assemble the navy and wait for orders." Oben replied respectfully, "Yes, Your Majesty." A few days later, a huge navy headed by the legend Black Steel warship assembled and sailed towards the deep sea. The Dragon Skeleton Pirate King's fleet's lair, the Dragon Bones Island, had warships anchored on the harbor. Around the Dragon Bones Island, there were dragon seagulls with a trace of dragon bloodline flying. A warship more than 80 meters long cruised around the Dragon Bones Island. One by one, the pirates slumped listlessly on the deck, basking in the sun while drinking wine. On the lookout tower, the lookout game looked into the distance with a pair of binoculars for a while, and then cursed in a low voice, "Damn it, to actually have to patrol. Who would dare to provoke the Dragon Skeleton pirates in the vicinity of the Dragon Bones Island? His Majesty is too small." Game suddenly recalled a woman he played with a few days ago and cursed, "The aristocratic chick I caught a few days ago was really fun to play with. Her skin was soft and tender, and her voice was pleasant to the ears. It's a pity that those guys killed her. Damn it, what a bunch of idiots. They don't know how to restrain themselves. That way they can play longer." While Game was reminiscing about the aristocratic young lady he played with before, he casually looked at the horizon. Slightly taken aback, his expression suddenly changed, and he stood up, raised the pair of binoculars and looked into the distance. He saw a black line appear on the horizon, and the Black Dragon Country's fleet, led by the Black Steel warship, braved the wind and rushed over. Chapter 421. After the warship was destroyed, the entire Dragon Bones Island became like an ant's nest that was doused with hot water. Countless pirates poured out and rushed towards the port where the pirate ships were located. From the Dragon Bones Island came the voice of the pirate Lord Lionel. "I am the Dragon Skeleton Pirate Lord Lionel. Which friend has come to my Dragon Bones Island as a guest? Is there a misunderstanding between us?" Boom! The 897mm heavy artillery fired again and smashed a 100-meter-long warship of the Dragon Skeleton pirates into pieces, and the warship sank into the sea. Beams of light formed by the super railgun bombarded the battleships in the harbor of Dragonbone Island. Countless battleships were riddled with holes and slowly sank. Arlette took a step forward majestically and said in a loud voice, "I am the Holy Maiden of the Black Dragon Country. His Majesty the Great Emperor of the Black Dragon Empire has personally led an expedition to conquer the East Sea. Lionel, hand over the Dragonbone's warship in your hands and submit to His Majesty, and you may still have a chance to live. Otherwise, today will be the day of death for scumbags like you." Sitting on a chair on the Black Steel warship's bridge, Yang Feng propped up his cheek with one hand and looked at the majestic-looking Arlette with a smile in his eyes. A beautiful diplomat is really pleasing to the eye. Lionel shouted anxiously, "Stop! Isn't it common sense to stop attacking when negotiating? Stop right now, I can consider your proposal." While Arlette was speaking, the Black Steel warship still didn't stop its bombardment. A dense rain of light and artillery bombarded the Dragonbones Island, destroying the pirates and the warships in the port. Arlette said in a loud voice, "You have no choice. Surrender or die. Until you make a choice, our attack will not stop." A gloomy expression on his face, Lionel said coldly, "In that case, let me show you the true strength of the dragon skeleton pirates." As soon as Lionel's words fell, a terrifying dragon might rose from Dragonbones Island, and a silver dragon over 50 meters in length flew out, flapped its wings and flew over. An adult silver dragon that could fly in the sky could even defeat many human demigod-level powerhouses in the ocean. This was the trump card of the dragon skeleton pirates. Oben's eyes flashed and he said solemnly, "Your Majesty, please allow me to fight." Yang Feng said lightly, "Go." "Yes, Your Majesty." Oben's figure blurred, and he flew into the air. With a flash of black light, he turned into a 50-meter-long black dragon exuding demigod rank aura. "You are Oben. Traitor Oben." When the silver dragon saw the huge black dragon that Oben had transformed into, its eyes flashed with surprise. "That's right, Roik. You really haven't improved. After hundreds of years, he still hasn't stepped into the Starry Sky Warlock realm. Furthermore, he became a thug for a lowly pirate. You're a disgrace to our dragon race. Let me take care of you." Oben smiled ferociously, flapped his wings, and rushed towards Roik along with a terrifying hurricane. The inheritances of dragon experts were much more complete than those of human experts. They were well aware of the division of ranks in the 36 primary material planes. The division of ranks was strictly based on the Zhangji plane's rank, because the plane of dragons had also been suppressed and dominated by the Zhangji plane's human warlocks. Roik roared wildly, "Oben, you're a disgrace to our dragon race. I was ordered by the clan to assist Lionel in dominating the East Sea. Since you attacked me, do you want to ruin the clan's plan? Even though you've already advanced to the Starry Sky Warlock rank, but you're still no match for the clan's elders." Oben smiled ferociously. No longer speaking nonsense, he pounced on Roik and screamed madly. The two fearsome dragons fought frantically in the sky. Among dragons, silver dragons were second only to gold dragons. Silver dragons were a notch higher than black dragons. In the same realm, silver dragons were a notch stronger than black dragons. However, Oben was already a Starry Sky Warlock rank black dragon, while Roik was just a quasi-Starry Sky Warlock rank silver dragon. Even though the silver dragon was a notch higher than the black dragon, but Roik was still not Oben's match. As soon as the two sides fought, Roik was completely suppressed. He cut a sorry figure, and many wounds appeared all over his body. Above the sea, the Black Steel warship's artillery rumbled, and beams of light slammed into the warships docked at the Dragonbones Island's port. At every moment, warships were torn to pieces by the Black Steel warship's artillery fire. The pirates desperately tried to board the warship, but in the end they sank together with the warship. Afraid of the Black Steel warship's terrifying firepower, many pirates chose to escape or hide and shiver, watching pale-faced as the warship sank into the water. Suddenly a wave surged. From the side of Dragonbones Island, a Dragonbones warship sped over from behind Dragonbones Island. A terrifying draconic might gushed out from the Dragonbones warship. A pair of huge dragonbone wings extended from the Dragonbones warship and flew into the air with a terrifying gust of wind. Among the legendary warships left in the secular world by the god of pirates, only 3 could fly for a short period of time. The Dragon Bones warship was one of them. When the Black Dragon country's navy saw the Dragon Bones warship flying in the air, their countenances changed dramatically. Interesting, Dragon Bones warship. Let me experience the power of your legendary warship. Sitting aboard the Black Steel warship, Yang Feng, dressed in a military uniform, showed a smile, blurred into motion, and strode towards the Dragon Bones warship. Your Majesty. His Majesty is going to fight. It's His Majesty. He's personally taking action. The eyes of the Black Dragon country's naval warriors flashed with excitement as they watched Yang Feng walk in the direction of the Dragon Bones warship. Apart from a few officers, no one in the Black Dragon country's navy had ever seen Yang Feng in action. The naval officers were full of expectations for Yang Feng, the powerhouse who killed 5 dragon gods. The Dragon Bones warship's bow gun shone with light, and the patterns on the bow gun lit up, and a terrifying beam of light capable of obliterating demigod-rank powerhouses shot towards Yang Feng. A fearsome spatial fluctuation condensed around Yang Feng, and distorted space took shape around him. When the Dragon Bones warship's bow gun slammed into the distorted space, it shuttled back and forth, and finally slammed heavily into a dragon skeleton pirate's warship, destroying the 100-meter-long warship. Seeing this scene, the Black Dragon country's navy and the dragon skeleton pirates were dumbfounded, their eyes brimming with shock. So strong! So strong! That's His Majesty for you. So strong! This power is really formidable. His Majesty must be the embodiment of a true god walking in the secular world. The Black Dragon country's navy soldiers were filled with excitement, and their morale was greatly boosted. Freak! How can we defeat such a freak? Even the Dragon Bone cannon can't hurt him. How can we be his opponent? When the pirates aboard the Dragon Bones warship saw this scene, their eyes filled with fear, and their morale plummeted. The Dragon Bone cannon was the strongest weapon on the Dragon Bones warship, yet it couldn't hurt Yang Feng. This fact left them in despair. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he appeared aboard the Dragon Bones warship. When the cruel and vicious pirates saw Yang Feng, they couldn't help but take a few steps back with their blades in hand, and fear shimmered in the abyss of their eyes. Yang Feng's gaze shifted, and his gaze fell on a pirate mixed in with the ordinary pirates, and he said indifferently, "Lionel, come out. Since you don't want to surrender, then I'll send you to hell." Shamelessly hiding among the ordinary pirates, the dragon skeleton pirate King Lionel wanted to mount a sneak attack on Yang Feng. The bones of the skinny pirate with an aged face issued crackling sounds, and he turned into the tall and handsome dragon skeleton pirate King Lionel with a wicked temperament. Lionel stared at Yang Feng with a dignified expression and said while enunciating each syllable, "Your Majesty the Emperor of the Black Dragon country, I am Lionel. The dragon skeleton pirates have never plundered the ships of the Black Dragon country. There is no enmity between us. May I ask why you attacked the dragon skeleton pirates, Your Majesty? The caravans that went out to sea have no enmity with you pirates, so why did you attack them?" Yang Feng swept the pirates with a glance, his eyes shimmered with contempt, and he said with a cold smile, "I came to annihilate you in order to enforce justice on behalf of heaven, eradicate scum like you, and maintain the order of the East Sea." Lionel said with a cold smile, "Enforce justice on behalf of heaven? What pompous and hypocritical words. You've taken a fancy to the fat meat that is the East Sea, and you want to take a bite out of it." The East Sea was extremely vast. This sea ran through the Morinth Empire, the Titan Empire, and many coastal neutral principalities and kingdoms. Each of the 3 pirate kings was as wealthy as a state, and each of them had more than 10,000 pirates under their command. Besides, they had planted countless spies and established countless strongholds in the coastal states, relying on the rich resources of the East Sea. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.